And all right, welcome everybody. It's been a little bit of time, but there is a good reason for that. My name is Hadi, Frisco Pinball.
Hey, I'm Joe, J-Land.
Welcome to episode 2 of Wizards and Warriors. I hope you guys have been having a great time. It's been a busy summer of pinball tournaments, and we have been busy with our own tournaments attending. We got to attend 2 of the same ones. But yeah, Joe, we're back, and it's been about a month since our debut episode. I appreciate everybody's feedback on episode 1. You guys have been great. You said you've loved it. I do apologize for the audio issues. Hopefully those are gone now, different mic. But we do want to continue this. We're having a great time talking about it, talking about competitive pinball, playing competitive pinball, a lot of tournaments. But we're ready to talk about the last 6 weeks. What have you been up to, Joe?
Yeah, it's been busy. A lot of driving the last few weeks. Got to see you at the Beast up in Buffalo, and then out in Pittsburgh for Pinburgh, the return. But yeah, I've been playing a lot locally. I started actually hosting some tournaments,
Nice.
and TDing, so kind of dipping my feet into that world.
How do you like it so far?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Thankfully, haven't had to make any kind of drastic rulings that have changed the course of someone's history. But
what has been the most stressful part for people that are getting into TDing and kind of want a warning shot or something to prepare for?
No, I mean, reading over the rules, I think, is a huge thing, right? Like it's definitely helped me with being familiar with the IFPA rulebook and how games should be played and all that. So it's been good. It's been good. I would strongly encourage people to do it if they have the time and the ability to do so.
Definitely. And where have you been teeting? What area? The DMV area?
Yeah, up in Virginia.
Nice.
This place, Ocelot Brewery. Working with the guys here at Out of Time Amusements. It's been a great time. We're doing kind of Sunday monthlies. We got our Sunday scaries going. And then I'm also playing. Thanks. And we've also been playing League at the same location. And then other than that, just watching a bunch of tournament pinball on Twitch.
Yeah, that's been heavy for a lot of people. If you've noticed, if you've watched competitive pinball on Twitch, even regular pinball on Twitch, you'll know that there's been a lot of action. We just came off, like we said, Pinburgh, the Beast, California Extreme. You had Palooza in California, SoCal area. We had the Super Social in Chicago to get prepped for Papa 21 coming up in a couple weeks. Northwest Pinball Championship just happened last weekend. So we're going to get through a lot of it. We're going to talk about a lot of it. We're going to focus this episode on 3 tournaments, Pinburgh, the Beast, and by request from Jonathan down in SoCal, we're going to take a look at one of the Palooza tourneys. A really good idea. Kind of reminded me of the Super Series at District 82. But with a more Lollapalooza flair and theme.
Nice.
I have been watching a ton of it. Just a highlight, Pinburgh was great. I made the flight there, then drove back to Michigan to hang out with the family, and then drove across Canada to get to the Beast, which was awesome because I haven't been to Canada in decades, and I finally got my passport. It was a great time. It was fun to drive. Good, a lot less stressful and a lot cheaper than figuring out flights and all that stuff. So it was great to see everybody. Competitive pinball, I feel like I don't know if it's at an all-time high because I wasn't around during the Pinburgh days of yesteryear, but it's busy, man. And it's not everybody just flocking to District 82. There's a ton of places to play, and great to meet all of you. So with that said, we're going to start a review of some of the recent tourneys that we've had that have happened recently in July and August. Like we did last time, we'll go over the recent tournaments. Then we'll go into reviewing some of the bigger ones and what we saw in the finals, talk strategy about the games, and have footage along with that, maybe some cool pictures, and then we'll play a game at the end. And I think everybody will like this game. It won't be a ranking system. It won't take an hour to have. But what we're going to do is try to give you a little bit of motivation to find some auditory inspiration for your pinball prep whether it's
Oh
in
yeah.
competition or just for fun. So, with that said, we're going to go big screen here to the Simpsons TV. There we are. All right. So, the first tournament that we had in late July was the Southern Fried Gaming Expo. This was actually also, I think, the debut of Stern's Godzilla 70th on the floor.
Yeah,
So if
that
you
sounds
got
right.
to, yeah, if you got to go out there, congrats and check it out. But big winners on the main tournament, some good whoppers here. Dalton Ely with 50.92 points for taking first place. Congrats, Dalton. Braden Gentry, I apologize if I messed that up. 42.96 for second place. Man, these are some solid whoppers. And this was for the main tournament. They had a classics and women's as well. Joe Ganu, excuse me, took third, got 38.48 whoppers, and Scott Mount in fourth with 34.93 whoppers. You can take a look at the rest of the finishers there. Nate Grant, Ellis Mount, Kaylee Campbell, Ken Grant. Oh, the Grants took a nice
Oh
top
yeah.
10 finish alongside each other. And then Timothy Street and Chris Warren.
Strong players. And then they also had a classics event. Let's see, we had Mark Munder, taking home about 16.9 whoppers there. We got Neil Wagner in second, Doug Knoll in third, and then Eric Hedstrom in fourth.
Nice. I see
Um,
Jockton in there, the creator of the new pin steps.
there you go. Yep.
All right. And then the women's tournament, we had, it looked like it took place a day earlier. We had Mia Henderson with 20 women's Whopper points, Tatiana Pinner in second, Brenna Valentine. Oh, Tatiana and Brenna tied for second. Interesting.
Nice.
And then Kim Martinez, who I was just listening to on one of the District 82 streams, do commentary, took
Very cool.
fourth. Yeah, you had Carolyn Creekman, Amanda Turner, Emma King, Carrie Weddle, and others finishing that out.
Great. And moving right along, we're going into California Extreme, which is the same weekend as Pinburgh this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a great tournament over there. Looks like for the main event, Jack Slovacek took home first with a nice haul, 127.4 whoppers. Andre Masenkoff with 108.6. Tim Hansen, current and I believe current California number one
Nice.
player in third with 97.9. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Javier Marin in fourth with 89.4? And then rounding out the top eight here, we got Dustin Goldberg, who's been, I think, on a tear lately, with 82. Nick Stein with 76. Jeff Reinhardt with 70, another great up-and-coming player. And then Derek Price with 65.5, rounding out the top eight.
Yeah, I've seen Dustin's name in a few top finishes. I think wasn't it Yegpin? I forgot where we saw his name. Maybe it was somewhere.
Maybe Yegpin, but I know he's been killing it he's a California player, but
Gotcha.
he's been just winning a bunch of tournaments out there. I just keep seeing his name pop up. Shout out Dustin.
Dominating. Yeah, he's 213. But look at that top ranking you had, or that finish. In the top 6, you had 4 of them in the top 100. Xavier, nice job. Ranked 817, coming in with 89 points. Probably a huge boost to his overall Whopper rankings or IFPA rankings. So nice job. Jeff Reinhardt at 1100. Yes, anybody. It's almost like football. Any given Sunday, you can catch some good feeds and do some good stuff with your play. So always get out there and compete. It's never just going to be the top players all the time. So then we had the classics at CAX, and so those. Excuse me. That's the 82. There we go. All right. So for the classics, Nick Stein, who I got to see during this year's States against Escher, I think. He was playing against him. I think he took second. Escher was the California state champ, I believe. Nick takes first with 61 whoppers. Jack Slovacek again, 50 whoppers. Tom Isaac, 44. Sean Irby in fourth with 40.14. Bob, shout out Bob, BMU, the all-knowing guide. Also, great orator, and if you ask him a question, you're going to get some great stories, especially about pies. And so he came in fifth with 36 whoppers there. Tony Lavinia, sixth. Bob Matthews in fifth, excuse me. Jamie Uziel in seventh. Rick Stetta, Gene Lewin, and Dustin Goldberg finishing it out.
There you go. And then let's see, they also had a women's event there. We had Shannon Sweetser taking first with 13.9 whoppers there. Corey Casella with second, 8.8. I believe it's pronounced Icha Schneider with 6.4. Kristen Vogel Campbell in fourth with 4.8. And then rounding out the top 8, we've got Donda Durbin, Samantha Wald, Kim Martinez, and Shannon Ducharme.
Nice job, ladies. And then that's CAC. So California Extreme, again, great tournament. You've done well there, haven't you? I feel like you've played in... I thought I saw your name.
I haven't played California Extreme before, but I played in the Golden State Pinball Festival earlier this year.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Yes. Yeah, I thought I saw your name on one of the California ones.
Yeah, I got to play with a lot of the players actually we just named, so it was a really good time.
Nice.
Great weather.
Yeah. If you can get a major in California, highly recommend going to it. Indisc happening late January 2025. Obviously one of the biggest ones, but California is always a good time. That's where I'm from, and I miss the weather a lot. So please have more big tournaments out in California. So after that, we had the Silverball Super Social recently. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
That might have been, I think, a little over 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, because Northwest was last week. So beginning of August, Andy Bagwell holding the Silverball Super Social 3 in preparation for Papa 21, which is coming up next week, and getting the games tested and set up. And it was great to watch. It was a very long, felt bad for Tom at Fox Cities, very long qualifying or playoffs. I forgot what it was. No, qualifying. It went to like 2 a.m.
Qualifying and I think even the warm-up strikes tournament went pretty late. Yeah. So I think I was talking to Zach Parks. He was saying every night was kind of a long one. So yeah.
I think Tom got like 3 hours of sleep after qualifying to go into playoffs, and he made it. He made it into.
Oh yeah,
that's not easy. So congratulations to everybody putting on a great event. Thank you again to Fox Cities for streaming all the big tourneys along with everybody else. IE Pinball, Pinballers, Pins and Pirates. Thank you guys for putting on some great entertainment and letting us consume the content. So. The results for the main tournament. Ray Day. Shout out Raymond Davidson, Stern employee extraordinaire, Rush coder, Zepp coder, Foo Fighters coder, all the things coders. Taking first, 115.32 points. ZMAC, Zach McCarthy in second, 97.5. Carlos de la Cerda, Laserlos in third with 87.42 points. And Gregory Kennedy finishing fourth, 79.44. The rest of your top finishers, Nick Wayna, Sterling Matoska, Nathan Zalewski, Sean Burke, Preston Curry, and more. Shout out Sterling for putting up some great performances throughout late July into the Silverball Social. Top ranked 12-year-old in the world, I believe. But that was fun to watch. It was good to see how the pins are set up now in preparation for Papa. I know Andy's mentioned that they're probably all getting flipper rebuilds, hopefully, on Thursday. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But that was a really, really, really good tournament. Some big points there. And congrats to all the winners.
Yeah, congrats to them. Fun finals to watch. I know Carlos was broadcasting that one from his phone, kind of over the shoulders of the players. So
that was pretty really, fun. The IRL.
Yeah, exactly. IRL stream, really different perspective on a big tournament finals. So shout out Carlos for streaming that. Moving right along, we've got the District 82 2024 Summer Pinball Classic. So these are the results for the main tournament. Let's see, we've got Neil Graff coming in first, taking home a good haul of 133.2 whoppers.
Wow.
We've got Steve Bowden coming in second with 103.6 whoppers. Carlos Laserlos de la Cerda coming in third with 87.7, and then Jane Verweiss in fourth with 75.7. And then rounding out the top 8, we've got Jack Slovacek, another mention of his name, California player, coming in 5th, 65.9. Hugo Ritter coming in 6th with 57.8. And then tied for 7th, we've got Mike Weinberg, 50.8, and then Oliver Baker with 50.8.
Nice. And shout out to everybody there, but big shout out to Jane, man. She was crushing it during this D82 weekend. I was watching her play, and she was putting in some work, and I'm just looking at her points from that weekend, and it looks like she got over 116 whoppers just from the Summer Classic, which now she's 333rd in the world. But that was really good performances by everybody. But I remember watching, I think chat was going crazy because she had some really good saves and just hanging in there and grinding and chopping wood. So it was a fun tournament, fun weekend. I know District 82 is sort of slowing things down as far as bigger tournaments. I hope they keep the Super Series. Eric, if you're listening, keep that one. But hopefully they have 1 or 2 big events every year so people can make the pilgrimage and see what a great location it is.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the trip.
Oh, yeah. And so now we're going to go to the Classics. There was a main Classics tournament there. And your top performers, Oliver Baker, 126 whoppers. Derek Fugate, 97. Jack Slovacek, continuing his impressive run, 82.57 in third. Luke Nahorniak off his Yegpin domination, 70.96. And then the rest of your finishers, Ryan Spindler, Stephen Bowden, Nathan Zalewski, and Jared Eshelman. And so with that, those are our sort of, I'm not going to say side tourneys, but other tournaments that we've kind of been watching and reviewing. Just want to get a sort of rundown of all the winners there. Congrats to everybody. We've got some big tournaments coming up. Like we said before, Papa 21, charity major. Is it a major?
Papa is a major, yes.
Okay, so this will be
one of the 5.
That's right. So it's going to be an open qualifying Herb style cards. It's 5 games on your card. 4.
Yes, best 5 on a card.
Okay, so 5 games on your card. There's going to be a main, classics, and women's. 50% of all proceeds will go to the Lyman Sheets charity. I apologize, I don't know the name off the top of my head, but in honor of Lyman, a really great event coming up, Papa 21 World Championship, September 5th through 8th, Schaumburg, Illinois. It's going to be streamed on Fox Cities Pinball, twitch.tv/Fox Cities Pinball. Thank you, Tom, and I'll see everybody there next week. Joe's going. A lot of people are going. What do we have after that?
Yeah, after that, we've got, I just looked up, so it's the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
That's it. Thank you.
Yep. After Papa, we've got the 2024 Delaware Pinball Open that's coming up in at the Delaware Pinball Collective, the Lavish, excuse me. That'll be the week of September 11th through 14th. So it's a certified, also a card format tournament.
Nice. Then we've got the MF Quarterly in Seaside, California, September 13th through 15th. Pinball at the Lab, September 21st through 22nd in Riverside, California. People always rave about Pinball at the Lab. I hope to get to one of those. Have you been there?
I haven't done. I mean, I've been to the Riverside Game Lab to play, but I haven't done Pinball at the Lab, which is apparently the the way they kind of test the games out for in disc. So low key, it's a good one to go check out.
What do we have after that?
After that, it's the UK Open, which I believe you're going to this year, right?
First time overseas, if you don't count the Bahamas. I've never been outside of the country, and so I guess Canada too. But I'm excited. Neil McRae, Domino Pinball, they've just opened up Pinball Republic. I think it just got sort of their grand opening. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Croydon. Yeah, it looks cool, right?
It's good. It looks really cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. And it's, what's interesting is I've noticed some places, and it's a really smart idea. I think people, if you're going to open a location, check out malls. A lot of malls are being abandoned, the age of online ordering, but man, there's some retail space open. And if you're looking for a location that might actually have the space you need at a rate you need, your local area mall might just be the ticket. But after that, Concord Championship, November 2nd to 3rd, and then some more stuff to round out the year. Don't forget Cincinnati, December 6th through 8th. I'm registered for that. Are you going?
Cincinnati is not on the cards for me this year, but
Okay.
looks like a great event. I know Eric Wardenberg does a great job.
Are you doing anything after, other than your locals, the after Papa? Do you have anything, maybe Delaware or?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to. I know Expo is a big one
Oh,
this
that's
year.
right.
It's a big anniversary. They're adding like an extra day to the whole event, but I'm gonna try to do Expo if I can. It's not maybe like I'd say hopefully 50%
Yeah.
chance I'm gonna be able to make it there. But I went last year; it was a great time. So hoping to return this year.
Have you ever done
Um,
Pinball Olympics?
I did a
Yeah.
Pinball Olympics last
Yeah,
year. It
it's
was
awesome, isn't
incredible.
it? It's so,
Really something else. Like you
yeah.
just have to go. It's
Yeah, it's hard to describe. I've been to Expo once, and I did Pinball Olympics, and
yeah.
this year's the 40th anniversary of Expo. But
Yep.
if you go to Expo, if you decide I'm going to do this once, please do the Pinball Olympics.
Yeah. Definitely.
You're gonna see things you can't describe. Yeah.
Try not to look anything up either. Just go in blind because that's I think the best way to do it.
And it's such a great take on a different way to play pinball, and everybody's having a good time, and you will too. We can guarantee that. I hope. All right, so those are your upcoming tournaments. Right now, we're going to get into our in-depth review of some of the bigger tournaments. First up, Pinburgh. Pinburgh's back, being held at the Resonine Sports Arena in Pennsylvania. I forgot to put it on our notes here, but I do want to talk about some of the pros and cons that we saw of Pinburgh. I will say, pros wise, it was an amazing setup. There's plenty of space to sort of walk around, stretch. You could go watch Deadpool and Wolverine if you want. It was on the top floor, second floor of a movie theater space. But man, it was set up so nicely, and I love the tournament director buttons that they had, where you could call a TD if something was stuck, and everything ran smoothly. There wasn't any hiccups. You know, you're always going to find a game with elite level players that they can exploit and make and play long. So Barracora was the victim here. It was in semifinals, I believe, of the main, and it lasted a very, very long time. And it's tough. It's tough when you're putting on a tournament to make sure that things run smoothly, but also that things aren't super unfair. And if you take a look at the Beast, when we talk about that, some of the things there could have been adjusted, but again, it's always hit or miss. Those were my pros. This was my first one. It was an amazing major to attend. I wish I'd done a little better, but at the same time, it's a great learning experience. It was enough pinball for me where I wasn't exhausted. I really loved 4-game banks we had 5 rounds on each day, 4 games. So you're guaranteed 40 matches or 40 games. And then, my only con, I'll mention this, is the software for the tournament put me in a lot of the same banks, sometimes back to back to back. So it would have been nice to get a better variety of games and banks and getting to play not different people, but I was in one bank back to back, I think twice, or maybe once, but I was looking at some of the other matches, and then someone pointed out Mayumi had like 3 in back to back to back. So that was my only con. I was hoping the software would be have a little more variety. But pros wise, it's going to always be on my cards if I can make it. If I had to pick 2, it would be Indisc and Pinburgh every year. I would go every single year. How about you?
Yeah. My first Pinball, Pinburgh experience was also this year, and I had a blast, man. It was, like you said, I think in the confines of what they had to work with in terms of the space, it was great. I know it's a lot smaller this year in scale compared to the last Pinburgh, but I think that allowed them to kind of space things out quite a bit in the Resonine esports arena. There were a lot of kind of side rooms that people were able to kind of hang out in. I know I definitely took advantage of that. Set up a little some karaoke on
Yeah,
the side for people to kind of partake in
that was cool to see.
and blow some steam off. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. You mentioned the getting like a bunch of repeat banks. I think I maybe only got one repeat, thankfully, and it was like spaced out. But I know there were definitely some people that I talked to that played the same bank 3, even 4 times, which
Yeah.
is pretty crazy to see.
So,
But
and you think about it, there's a good part to that and a bad part. There's a good part because you're familiar with the pin after the first
yeah,
round. And if you get it back to back, you're kind of like, okay, I know where the plunge is, I know where the shot
yep.
is. I can kind of gauge where how hard I can nudge it. The bad part is you kind of, if you haven't done well, if it's not a bank you're particularly strong on, if you get TNA, what was it? It was like TNA, Tommy, stars, and then I forgot the EM on it. But it's like, if you're not, those are fast moving pins. Except Tommy. Tommy's more of a long player if you can find the scoop or the VUC on the right to start your modes. But man, it gets rough sometimes if you're not doing well, if you get down on yourself about it. But honestly, it's a very small con to point out because everything else, it's the first year back. It had a limited cap to test out, is this going to work for us again? And it was still a lot of people. So for them to have that smooth of an operation for 128 plus 144 was just really well done. Kudos to everybody. Kudos for taking my money for Bash at the Burgh entries, but man, it was a lot of fun. And then they had the side tournament Bash at the Burgh, which I think was really well done during downtime while you're waiting for the other groups to finish their round. Getting the opportunity to put in some entries for Bash at the Burgh was just, it's my preferred format now. I love it. If I can have downtime, I don't want to be sitting around. If I can still continue to play, if I can't practice, like having that side qualifier tournament is just wonderful.
Yeah, that's a big thing for this format, right? For Pinburgh, it's just straight match play, right?
Yep.
And there's no practice allowed. So yeah, like you said, having that side tournament where it's just an unlimited herb format, you can just kind of, and a lot of some of those games kind of overlapped with the main bank too, right? Like the
Stars.
not the same copy, but
Yep.
same game. So you can kind of get a little bit of practice in. On
Yeah, it was funny. Stars in the main Pinburgh bank had a center post, but in Bash at the Burgh, it didn't have a center post. So you go from there, you're like, oh, what the hell, man? But yeah, so after day one, you made A, which congratulations, and it was so close. It was crazy because the cut was 31. So you played 62. You played 20 games. 20 games, right? And then your points were based on how many people you beat. So it was 3, 2, 1, 0. So the cut line for A and B was 31. Was it 31 or 30? No, it was 31, right?
I think it was 31. Yeah,
it was 31, and then 30 was B. And shout out Steve Zollard. So they had the restriction where if you were top 250,
50, top 50.
Top 50, you got bumped up into A if you were, below the cut line. So Steve got the last A spot, and there were like 7 of us at 30 that thought we were getting a tiebreaker. But hey, those are Pinburgh rules, and you got to perform. It was a grind, and you were going up against a lot of tough players. My first group, I had Escher in my group, and I did prevent him from getting the 12-0, so he didn't get his token because of me, and he was like, you. but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was fun. Like, and anything can happen on any of your matches. Everyone has like a war story about qualifying. So I missed A division by 1 point, and that first group that I had, I played Sea Witch, and Jockton beat me by 70 points on Sea Witch. So I lost a point there. And it was like, there's one thing that you could do to get yourself in and and maybe fall short. But it was a great experience. A ton of knowledge gained as far as different pins that I haven't played. I've never played Transporter. I'd never played well, Target Pool was at Indisc, but I didn't get to play it. Transformers in a tournament I'd never seen. Were there any pins that were there that you didn't get to play, or that you got to play for the first time, or got to see?
Yeah.
Avatar was one.
Okay. I think that retheme of was it Freak Out? I think it was like Doozy originally.
Yeah, yeah.
That I'd never seen before, but that was also really cool art on that
Yep.
that retheme game. And then I'm probably forgetting a couple of like older EM games that I ended up playing, but yeah, no, there's definitely a really good variety of games there that you don't really see every day.
Exactly. It was a good time, and again, I can't say thank you enough to everybody that helped run it. IE Pinball for streaming it. A lot of work goes into it, and then streaming it is one thing, but then also playing and competing at a high level. So shout out to Carl, also Brian for helping out on the stream, Brian Dye, I believe, and then everybody helping at the Bash at the Burgh. So with that said, I just wanted to kind of get our overall thoughts on it, but we're going to go into the first game. So we're going to come here and go here, and then footage courtesy of. So here's game one. We're going to mute it for a sec. And then I got to make sure I give the credits properly to IE Pinball. All right. So game one, Division A finals. You had Jason Zoller, Escher Lefkoff, Alexander Kamarchik. I apologize if I don't say your name properly, and ZMAC, Zachary McCarthy. So those were your top four players for the finals, and there were 4 games for each bank. They did remove Barracora from the finals and replaced it with Harlem Globetrotters. So first game up, we had AIQ. So what do we know about AIQ? We know a lot about AIQ. I own one, so you can see it behind me. But as for a tournament, you had it in your qualifying, right?
I did. I think that was one of the banks that I played on the first day.
Yes, I think so too.
But yeah, no, I think it played pretty fair. I know for ZMAX Ball 1, he I know Steve Bowden kind of called it a classic kind of chess opening where he, got his portal lock ready off the skill shot. I think he got 2 portal locks ready and then started his reality gem and then brought in Thor multi-ball on top of that.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty solid ball one.
Yeah, so there's just in AIQ, if we talk about the shots, we'll have the footage rolling now. So ZMAX on ball 1 right now. A lot of the shots are focused on collecting your Avengers. So there are 6 Avengers you can collect, and if you collect them, you get to start your first mini wizard mode, which is Soul Gem. So you collect, they're collects in different ways. So Black Widow, you have to shoot the ramp a few times, and that gets her to level 1. For Hulk, there's a spinner that qualifies him. It's X amount of spins. Black Panther is hitting the right orbit, and you have to hit it. I believe you have to hit it fully to get up to the right ramp to feed back to the right flipper. And then you've got Thor, which is a captive ball that will also start Thor multi-ball. And then also Captain America is in the pops. Is his shot, I forgot, his shot is the pops, right? Not the, there's a little lane that goes through there. I'm pretty sure it's the pop. And then you also have Iron Man, which is the lock in the Avengers tower up on the top left. So a lot of the strategy in Avengers is focused on, okay, do you start your gem mode, which is activated or qualified by hitting the Doctor Strange disc on the left, and it's sort of this spinning disc that spells strange after X amount of spins. Do you go for your combos, which will activate your portal lock first, or do you prep some of your multi-ball? And I think the overriding strategy is hitting a few combos. I always like to do on the premium the Black Widow to Captain Marvel ramp if the Captain Marvel ramp catches. A big problem on Captain Marvel ramp is there were a lot of rejects. So some people will... on this Pro, it's a lot more open because it's just a loop. So you'll see most of these players hit the Black Widow ramp up the center and then go to the Captain Marvel shot off the left flipper, slap the right side of the pin, and live catch on the right flipper over and over again. Because then once you activate those combos, it'll trigger your portal lock. And what is portal lock?
Hmm.
Portal lock is a setup to activate 2x scoring for your mode, and you can do it twice. If you get your second portal lock, it gives you 3x. So ZMAC finishes there with his ball 1. He has reality gem. I believe he finished it and ended up with about 111 million, which is a great score. Like, just normally AIQ, like in competitions, you're talking like 100 to 200 million, sort of gets you top two, in the top two. Do you remember what your scores were during qualifying?
Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I had to play ZMAC on this game. So it wasn't anywhere close to what he had. And I only needed maybe like 40 or 50 million to take second. And I just couldn't find the shots. During qualifying, I don't know if they adjusted the tilts for finals, but it was fairly tight during qualifying, if I recall correctly. So,
I think they did adjust it. Yeah, because I remember watching this.
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I know they adjusted like adding like posts in the out lanes and rubbers even, or probably maybe just posts, but those adjustments definitely can be felt.
Yeah, I think you're right, because when I was watching this footage, I don't remember them getting too many tilts or dangers. Like, I think they could move it, but this was a great, if you ever want to know how to play Avengers, watch this match. Again, shout out IE Pinball, check out his channel on Twitch and YouTube. This is a great way to learn it, to figure out a really deep, long game strategy. So normally you step up, you just want to get a portal lock to start and then start reality or power gem. Reality, the reason for choosing reality gem is it will multiply your shot wherever you place it. So I like to put it on Captain Marvel, because if you can get your loops dialed in on Black Widow to Captain Marvel, your Captain Marvel award with the reality gem multiplier is just huge. Like, if you could keep doing that over and over again, we're talking big points. Some people like to put it on Hulk, or wherever they can get a multiplied shot. A Black Widow is the easiest shot, I think, in the game. We just saw Alexander with his ball 1, same strat as ZMAC, 1 reality gem. He's like at about 80 to 90 million right there. It does look like he does tilt out on ball 2, but he had some great saves, and he was trying to sort of get his shimmy game on, and you'll see that coming up later. So ZMAC and Alexander kind of with the same score after ball 1, going for reality gem, but then we get Zoller coming up for his ball 1. So he takes an approach that I think is an elite level strategy. So you've got all these different gems. They have different perks. Reality is a multiplier. Power gem lets you qualify something faster. So if you place power gem on a spinner, the Hulk spinner, you get 2 spins for every 1 spin, 2 drops for only to finish your computer drops on the left. It's sort of figuring out, okay, where do I place these? And I think a big thing with AIQ is people get confused because there's so many different strategies and ways to play it. I mean, the instruction guide's like 500 pages. So do you have a preferred strategy when playing AIQ? Like, do you have something that you look for depending on obviously the tilt and where the shots are?
Sure. Yeah. No, I like. I think Steve Adams said it best with the classic chess opening and ZMAX ball 1. I really start with the reality gem. Working the disc to get the gem ready. I try to get the first portal lock off of the skill shot. Or sorry, the drops skill shot on the left.
Yes.
From the grid, and then if I can find the shots, get the combos going to get the second portal lock ready. And then just bring that Thor multi-ball into that first reality gem mode.
And that's a great strategy. And the thing with portal lock is, even if you don't get it, you still have a way to get extra balls added to your gem play. And Joe said it best. You have Thor multi-ball, which only takes about 2 hits or 2 or 3 hits to start the first Thor multi-ball. So on the right side is a captive ball, and on the pro, the lane for the captive ball to hit is shorter than on the premium. So if you see a premium or an LE, that shot has to be hit a little harder because it has further to go back the way it's set up. And so
I didn't know that.
so one thing Joe mentioned, which is really important to point out, is there's a lot of different skill shots. So the classic one is the easiest skill shot, which is Black Panther. You short plunge and it'll fall just short of the ramp on the back left and fall into the Captain America pops and gives you a little bit of a ball save. And on AIQ, you need a ball save because it can move quick. The in lane to out lane drain is fast. We see Jason Zoller here. He has started Mind Gem. Now, this is the long game, but I want to get back to the skill shots. So Joe's talking about when you do a full plunge onto the right flipper, there's the computer grid on the left. And if you wait just long enough, you can activate an award if you're able to hit the drop that's flashing. There's also another skill shot which loops around the vision shot, which is the little loop on the center. And that, I believe, also awards you an instant portal lock if you're able to hit that. It's sort of like a little bit stronger or a little bit weaker of a plunge. And then there's also the Ant-Man skill shot, which you plunge to the right flipper, full plunge, and hit the Iron Man lock in the Avengers tower. And that will give you, I forgot what the award is, but it's extra ball save and just more points. So Zoller here taking Mind Gem. And why does he take Mind Gem? Because the perk for Mind Gem is a spotted shot, sort of like a smart missile in James Bond. And I never thought about taking Mind Gem first. And the reason for it is because, you've got to know that you can get the Soul Gem. And why do you need to get the Soul Gem? Because if you place a Mind Gem on a level 1 Avengers, so when he collects it, he's already at 107 million here. It's absurd. And he's powered up his Black Widow right now to level 2. So each Avenger can get to level 2 if you shoot their shot enough. Mind Gem will give you 2 action button presses for a level 2 Avenger. So if you place it on your level 2 Avenger after you collect it, which he's just collected his Mind Gem, he got Thor multi-ball in Mind Gem mode. He just did nonstop combos from the center ramp to the Captain Marvel shot, as you'll see in the footage. He is a master of Captain Marvel, live catch on the right flipper, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, slap, live catch on the right flipper. It's just absolutely amazing to see.
Yeah, like clockwork.
Exactly. And like the reason he did the level 2 Mind Gem is because when he goes into Soul Gem mode, there's a hard version. And if you hit the hard version, your scoring is just multiplied by, I believe it's like by 10. And so the one thing I do want to show is in this footage, we're going to watch this real quick. So he is in reality gem mode, I believe right now. And he's in his Iron Man multi-ball. And I think so he had started reality gem as his second mode. And then he started Iron Man multi-ball during this reality gem. And he had triple X scoring with his portal lock too. So I'm going to turn on the audio real quick and just let me see if I can catch this. We're going to watch this really quickly. Let me turn up the audio for the thing and we'll be quiet. And I want you to watch his left flipper at around 2240 or so, because this is a modern stern we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
and now he's in Iron Man multiple.
Wow.
Nice.
Those multi-balls going. It's about to start.
Amazed just to see the high level of skill, and what you expect,
Watch
the
the left
four people
flipper.
who make the grand final of Pinburgh, of course. But
There.
he did.
He does.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Bad pass.
Yeah, he does a tap
all of us feel bad.
from left to right.
I felt bad about myself. About
AIQ. I am gonna go try that like for days now,
on,
but it's
right?
absolutely absurd. So I'm gonna try to see if we can catch it one more
Seeing
time.
the high level of skill.
Who's this, Nick Stein?
What you expect.
Here it comes.
Of the four people who would make the grand final of Pinburgh, of course, but
just absurd.
just tap
So
he did, he did. I wasn't gonna say anything, but
right?
yeah,
I didn't want to make
Steve and Bill
all of us feel
on
bad.
commentary. Oh, these two are
I
great.
felt
Shout out
bad about
Steve
myself,
Ballard and Bill
about my
Mason.
own
Just
skill,
awesome commentary to listen to.
because-
All right, so I'm going to lower that. So again, just amazing play from Jason. He gets to he collects his reality gem. So he's got the 2 and he's doing his victory laps and he's starting Soul Gem right here. So he starts his Soul Gem. You can see on the footage his level 2 Black Widow. So he's got his Mind Gem. He's going to do his Soul Gem mode on hard. We'll take a look here. And yeah, hard difficulty enabled, 10x scoring. You get 2 flips only. So Soul Gem mode is a flip-based mode, which I think is absolutely awesome. I love the addition of these flip-based modes. 2 pins. It's such a great take on a different way to play and a different challenge. So here, he's holding the flippers up to conserve flips, but he gets his first one done. It's up the Black Widow ramp. Second one done on the right ramp. Gets the Hawkeye loop, and again, does a nice bump over. He's trying to hit his Hulk shot, which is, these nudges are absolutely crazy. So you lose 5 flips if you drain, and you only get 2 if you hit the shot correctly. So what he did right there, boom, he hit his first 4 shots, first 4 or 5. So it goes Black Widow, right ramp, Hulk shot, right orbit, Black Panther, and then Thor. And then the next 2 are very hard. It's your drops. You have to clear all 3 drops, and then the Captain Marvel shot, and the last shot is Iron Man. So I want to show that again because I want to show the commentary on this.
Right ramp.
So he's hit his right ramp, and you'll see him hit the action button, and this is what we were talking about before with Mind Jam. He's got a little nudge here.
Nice.
Nice recovery.
Yep.
Okay, one button.
Yep.
That'll give him a lot of flips back because now you just got to hit 1 and it's over.
Boom.
Perfect.
And look at his bonus score is 100 million for finishing hard mode with like 14 flips left. So have you, like when you go into a competition, do you think about like going the long game with Mind Gem?
I don't think I've ever done that, and I probably learned the strategy from watching him do it and kind of execute it here. The only time I will say I think I usually pick hard mode for the Soul Gem just because the shots are worth more, and I like usually don't finish it. So I'm like, all right, I'll take like the 5 million for one shot.
But yeah, what did he finish? It's like, it's in our notes. It's like 108.5 million Soul Gem with 100 million bonus and 14 flips left. So what does he do next? He goes into Thanos Attacks, which is another wizard mode. And I believe he does it when you collect the Soul Gem, which is your 3rd gem here. Have you been to, I've never been, I mean, I've been in Thanos Attacks on my home pin, but I've never been like in a competition that far because they're usually set up real tough.
I don't think I've played more than maybe 2 gems in competition.
right.
Yeah.
So like I would choose reality and power, and then if I've never been to Soul Gem in competition. Now that I think about it, but I haven't played a lot of AI. I don't see it in many comps, and if I do, it's usually the tilt is just set super tight. So again, here he's in Thanos Attacks, and there's a really interesting strategy that he employs. Again, we're still on ball 1. He's at what? 480 million.
Yeah.
This is the combined score of like everybody's score normally in qualifying. But I was listening to Escher and ZMAC talk on the side, and what Jason does here is he lets Thanos, once he defends the Mind Gem, because he wants to keep that action button. So you get to choose which of the 3 gems you defend first. They're lit up. He decides to defend Mind Gem first, and then he shoots, there it is, it's defended. So now once he's defended it, you have to pick your next one. So he gets the shot, and he's going to choose Reality Gem. So you'll notice here, and the announcers didn't realize it either. I don't think many people did. So he gets the ball, traps up, and I was listening to Escher and ZMAC. They're like, hey, we made the strategy. We thought of this before, but Jason's going to finally make it show everybody what it is, not make it famous. But what he does is, the thought process here, again, super long game thinking. Let Reality Gem be taken away so you can play it again. Because Reality Gem is such a high scoring gem mode. So he does that. He lets Thanos take it. And what is it? He's checking his phone. It's just like, time this out. And the announcers were sort of like, hey, what is he doing? And if you think about it, it's extremely smart. So if you want to play at a high level, and you're thinking long game, you've got to think past long game and think super long game. Like I would never.
Longer.
Yeah, longer. I would never think of this. I would never think to let him take it, the gem, so I can play it again. It's just
you can just time it out.
Yeah, you can time it out, and it doesn't. It's not one of those ones where you need to move the ball like Rampage on Godzilla, where you have to move it so you can kill a few seconds by trapping up again. You can just time it out. Thanos will take the gem. And again, the idea of the gems is to make qualifying your Avengers easier or give them a perk. Because once you do 3 Avengers assemblies, that gets you to the main wizard, which is I've never even been there. And everybody thought they were gonna be. Everyone thought he was gonna get there here. So he's on Reality Gem right now again. That was the long game strat there, and he's got Portal Lock 2 again, already at 548 million. So he finishes this up really quickly, gets the 600 million, puts the Reality Gem on Captain Marvel, which is where I would put it because I think it's such a great scoring multiplier shot. And then he's off and running, right? So he's already at 650 million here. And yeah, so he decides, he's at 31 combos, 706 spinner rips, just absurd. And again, as you qualify your portal locks, I believe they take longer to qualify later on, and he chooses Space Gem for his 5th or 4th. I think this is his 4th gem. Let me see. Reality twice. This is his 5th because he got Soul Gem and Mind Gem, and so this is his 5th gem that he's collecting. And what does he do here? He puts combo. He gets his combo jackpots. The parry shots are on the same Black Panther orbit. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a strategy because your shot in Space Gem is the right orbit. After you hit the center ramp and right ramp, you have to parry Corvus Glaive's attacks with the right orbit shot. And I don't know if he put anything there, but there might be some strategy that you could do there. A Space Gem is the hardest one. I don't know if you've ever seen it picked. I never pick it. It's always the last one I have to do at home because it's tough. It's a tough shot combo because it doesn't always make it up the right orbit either. And yeah, so finishes Space Gem, but he doesn't collect it. And his ball one ends up at, as we see the bonus countdown, 850 million.
Insane.
Yeah. So thoughts
insane.
on that ball? Have you learned a little bit about AIQ from watching that?
Yeah, I mean, if I want to intimidate someone, I guess I'll pick the Mind Gem first, and then try to play a Soul Gem on ball 1, see what happens. But yeah, that was incredible, man. It was seriously I know it was probably a pretty long ball to watch, but I can't imagine what the other players were thinking.
Right? Like
if I play that ball out.
Yeah, if I see that, I'm sitting there going, dude, what was that? And obviously Escher comes up on his ball 1. He's no slouch on this. Obviously he's been a top ranked player for a long time, and he's doing sort of the same strat. He ends up finishing Mind Gem in another one, goes into Soul Gem mode. Let me get the next
Yes,
up.
I would assume. Or she'll try to backhand and.
Excuse me. We need to go into game 1 and game 2. Pardon me.
That's right. We were gone and now we're back.
All right.
We were
So
done,
he's already
and
in his
now
ball
we are
1.
back.
He's
And
collecting
now
his.
he is done. The gem is Escher's.
Let me lower that. He's collecting his Reality Gem. He goes into Soul Gem and he goes into hard mode. I don't think he had. Did he have? Oh, yes, he did. He had Mind Gem and Reality. He went into Soul Gem. His hard mode, he does the same thing. He's got his. I think he used the Mind Gem action button on a different shot, but he finishes it with 130 million total score. Just a beast of a performance just to get. Yeah, there it is. 60 million, 130 million Soul Gem mode. Same strat. He placed the Soul Gem on Black Widow. The Soul Gem lets you collect a jackpot when it's activated. And then he ends up, after his ball 1, with 298 million, nothing to sneeze at. Had a great ball 1 that would have almost won any other qualified competition. So that was ball one of the Pinburgh finals on the first game. And we're here and we're talking about it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that was I remember I was driving home, I think, at this point, but I had the stream on in the car, so I was kind of mostly just listening to the commentary and a little bit of the gameplay. And then I ended up rewatching it when I got home. But man, seriously, like that was just insane from insane ball one from every player, right? Like on the as hard of a copy as this is. But I mean, yeah, that ball one from Jason, obviously, I don't think anyone even caught it. For the game, right?
No, and it's just, if you want to learn AIQ, like we said before, watch this footage and watch this just ball one. Just watch ball one for some different strategies. There are going to be people that swear by power gems, so you can collect your Avengers quickly, get to wherever you need as far as mini wizards. But I think it's a great strat to employ in practice. I think if I'm playing on a copy that can move a little, I'm definitely going with this. Either way, I'm definitely starting Reality and Mind swapped up. So ZMAC has his ball too. He started Mind Gem, finished with 204 million, was going for Soul Gem, but unfortunately had a quick drain to the right outlane after a nice shimmy move you just saw there. But he ends up with 204. And again, this is all relative as far as we're speaking right now, because these scores are absolutely absurd.
Oh yeah.
And I cannot give enough props to the players for performing under these conditions after a grueling couple days. So Alexander's up second. Unfortunately, he tilts out, I believe, or let me see. I think he tilts out. Let's see. Yeah, big move there. Well, he doesn't tilt out. He just has a drain.
Drains it.
Yeah, it just drains. And then we've got Jason's ball two. And the thing the announcers noticed about Jason's ball two was really excellent. And I'm going to let them speak about it right now. Once he shows up, let me just make sure he gets to the, yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to let them explain.
No, but look what Jason has on his computer screen here for the drop target award.
He has a 1.
Wow.
A 2.
Yeah.
A 3.
A 3.
So what they're pointing to is
So
the
I
grid
suspect-
on the left-hand side. So Jason had already filled out 6 of his computer grid awards. And when you complete a line like tic-tac-toe, you get a extra award. There's like an extra ball save. And it's on the screen there. Points, super disc, you get the super modes, and there's another multi-ball for getting all your computer awards called Computer Grid Multi-Ball. So, or Computer Frenzy, something like that. So he was waiting to hit the skill shot on one of those so he could get whatever award was going to give him 2, which was basically all of them. So he collects the middle one. We'll fast forward the footage a little. So he collects the middle one right there, and he gets Super Arc Reactor and Ball Save. He gets his 4th gem. He goes for, let's see, picks Power there, and he starts Iron Man Multi-Ball. During Power Gem, collects the Power Gem, crosses the 1 billion point mark right around here because he's literally in a great stack of Iron Man Multi-Ball, which is collected at the Avengers Tower. And yeah, so he had a 69 million Iron Man Multi-Ball. And what does he start after he finishes all of this? Something that I don't think probably 1% of people have ever started in a competition. He collects all his Avengers twice. And what does he start? He starts Black Order Multi-Ball, which is the second. It's the right insert on the center of the playfield. Right, or excuse me, the left one. Sorry. And so he's in Black Order Multi-Ball. Actually, I think he only gets like a few jackpots, which is, relatively speaking again, but he ends up at around, and he got a Soul Gem Multi-Ball extender during Black Order Multi-Ball. I think he ended up with like 60 or something on Black Order. We'd have to check right here. But there's so many different shots that you can build points off in this wizard mode. You're basically battling each of the Black Order with your crew of Avengers. He's already trapped up here, and he ends up with I think he hit 1 or 2 super jackpots, 142 million on Black Order multi-ball. So he's at 1.2 billion by the end of ball 2. The way he ended, a missed live catch, Slingtown to the right out lane. But guess what? That was 2 balls. he's already at 1.2 billion. So Escher steps up. This one was a quick one, I believe. I think he had a really unlucky feed from the gauntlet ramp to the out lane. So I think he was waiting here. I think we can watch this really quickly. I just want to see the feed. And I think this is what most people get. Like here was the I think he gets a shot, from here, and then I think he goes up. No, this was a different shot. He eventually gets a shot to the gauntlet ramp. Let me see, right here it is. Yeah, and then this is what I see normally. I get like a half ramp shot, and then it feeds, boom, and it hits the top of the plastic on the left and goes to the right out lane.
I thought we were going to see like one of those classic Elwin drains where it goes halfway up the loop and then, out the left out lane.
Like the Godzilla loop. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
This one was just a half ramp to the top of the left, sling to the right out lane. So ZMAX steps up, ball 3. He does his Soul Gem hard mode. He completes it. He has about, let's see, I think he gets like 13 flips. Remaining, so he actually was only one shy of Jason's 14, but we had 3 guys finish hard mode Soul Gem. Very, very impressive. He ends up draining with a Shats. I think we have here. It was like a crazy Shats to the left out lane drain. It was a nice move, but I think it was there. It is. It was
wow.
Shats from the left. Flipper to the right in lane, all, and it did a loop-de-loop to the left.
It's too clean. It's too clean of a chance.
Yeah, too good. You got to get a little rattling in there.
Yeah.
He ends up with 385. Alexander steps up on ball 3, collects his Avengers, but he doesn't get the Soul Gem, unfortunately. He ends up with 196 million. And so then we have Jason on ball 3. Ball 3 for Jason, he had 1,030 spins on his spinner. They noticed it during commentary.
It's a lot of spins.
He unfortunate just spins for days. He had an unfortunate flipper catch error, and it went to the right out lane. But honestly, who cares at this point? If I'm at 1.2 billion, I'm sitting good. So he takes first because Escher on ball 3, unfortunately, just gets a quick drain. And shoots the right ramp, gets no speed, rebounds off the left plastic to the right out lane. He gets 384 million for third place, which was a lucky break for ZMAC because ZMAC finished with.
Is it 385?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, where are the points? I had him up here. Yeah, so 385, and Escher could have caught that pretty not easily, but a very good shot. And Escher finished with 347. So. Really nice moment here from Jason with the GC initials. He comes in and he puts the late great Lyman F. Sheets initials LFS. So at Pinburgh, Lyman, you are immortalized there. So that was game 1. We head off to game 2. What was game 2?
Game 2, we've got a Jack in the Box, the EM of the group. So this game, it's all about that skill shot in the beginning is very important because it lights your 10x bonus for the ball. And then after that, you're kind of just, I think, just hitting the drops, right? So,
and your drops, your drops up there, do they become worth more when you've hit that skill shot? That's what I was trying to figure out.
No, so if the drops are, let's see,
lit.
Yeah, I think the drops are lit if you if you light the saucer, or if you hit the lit saucer, it gives you 3,000 points, and then it lights the drops for 1,000 each in bonus.
Gotcha. And if you don't hit the lit saucer, the saucer is only worth 300, and I think if it's lit, you get 3,000 points. So this was a 5-ball game. Don't think it was tilt ends game. It was just tilt ends ball, and there's a 10x. The 10x bonus. Your 10x gets lit in the center if you hit that skill shot off the plunge. You'll see a lot of players in this footage. You'll see a lot of players, they do, and there's Alex. He gets stuck on the pops, but he gets like 6,000 points just from it. So it was kind of an unfortunate drain.
Yeah.
But you still got 6,000 in pops. So the great thing there is you get a little bit of a nice score from getting stuck in pops land. So you do want to hit, the strategy on this is you want to plunge, try to get that lit saucer, and then there's also a lit rollover lane. But you'll see a lot of players in this footage. Again, please go watch it at IE Pinball. They will bump over if it lands on the opposite side that's unlit. And it's a really good copy that they had here because they could move it enough. So I don't know. I think Jason might have hit it just right off the bat here. I want to see if I can find one where we do see that now. Oh, maybe here it is. Let's see. Boom, boom, just like that. That footage alone is just what you should study if you're going up to play this in a tournament, to always try and give yourself a chance to hit that 10x bonus, because you can see now in the center it is lit. So
I think in the Bob Matthews guide he even mentions like you are, if the, like, say for example the sausage is lit on the left, you actually want to plunge the right top lane, because then it'll kind of bounce over when it goes through that lane.
Oh, that's smart. Oh, so it's
other side,
actually oh, that makes sense. That, because I saw a lot of, I didn't know if that was like the known strategy, but trust me, looking at the footage and obviously trusting Bob's expertise, that makes total sense, because I didn't understand why everyone was able to sort of nudge it over, but I guess if the game itself allows it as sort of a constant factor, that's super cool. So ZMAC, ball 1, hits his 10x, ends up with 6K. So all the scores were pretty close: 3K, 6K, 7K, 6K. Escher, ball 2, has a quick one. And then we get to Alexander, and you can set up Alexander for us because I'm going to go to it. Give me one second.
This is the 39. So this is he gets a skill shot, and then he has this insane shimmy, I think, coming up in a few seconds here.
I'll let the audio play.
Get out of there. Yes. Beautiful.
So nice to watch.
I'm going to watch it just one more time. We'll just look at our own commentary. It's just so good. Alexander with this boom, 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 boom. It's just so freaking good. And he was doing that all in the finals. And just any extra time you get flipping on this is time well spent.
I'm curious if would you say that qualifies as a wicked shimmy, or is that just a regular shimmy?
I gotta give it wicked status for that. That was just because we saw how much it killed the other. It's been killing the players. Like, it was just so nice to get out.
Especially on a non-traditional, out lane like that, in lane, out lane.
Yeah, and there are many other EMs with that sort of in lane of death. And just to save yourself, I'm thinking of what does Old Chicago have? Does it have the pop of death or the in lane of death?
It's a very similar setup to this.
Okay,
It's got the pops above the those lanes that drain you. Yeah,
that's right. And like maybe Spanish Eyes, I forgot. But so good ball for Alexander, 17K. Jason steps up, and he has a really good ball. He ends up with about 30K for his, and then we'll go into the next footage. And we have ZMAC having
all that work, and then it does that.
Fortunate drain. Right. He's about 23,000 again. 5 ball game.
He's going to try this short plunge again.
Right now, after 2 balls, we're on ball 3 here. 6K, 17K, 21, and about.
Here's the land where you want. If you go down the right.
So we're going to kind of go through
you got to get the
this a little bit quickly. We've got a lot of games to get through. So he was trying to get his plunge there.
I've seen it get stuck up.
Escher, after ball 3, ends up with about 17. Alexander has a great ball 3, just destroys all these drops. If you look at the footage right here, he's got one left. Just one left. Everyone's like, hit it.
And watch how these elite players,
what's going to happen?
It's just not flailing at the top. It's mindful about, they're keeping track of which targets are down.
But I like to see them.
When they swing,
I haven't
where am I
seen
headed?
before,
I'm headed to the far left and to the far right.
What a ball by Alexander.
Yes, and he needed that after.
Let me lower this. I apologize. And he's at about 36K. Jason ends up with 30K after ball 3. ZMAC with about 23. So we get to ball 4. What happens about here? A quick in-lane drain for 25K. And then you can take on Alexander here.
Yep. I think he gets another 2,000 points. Or
Yeah.
no, sorry, another 9,000 points, and then 2,000 points just from that bumper.
Yeah,
Kinda
he
going
gets
back and forth, right?
Yeah, he gets the little like bumper love right there. It's crazy.
Oh my!
shimmies
And it
it
makes
up.
it. He survives it.
He survives it right back up to the lit saucer.
The 10x. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
amazing. But he doesn't get the second shimmy. I
Oh,
thought he was gonna get it there, but he doesn't. So great ball, gets 45K total for his troubles, and then we just keep going through this. Everybody's grinding and grinding. We get to ball 5. After 4 balls, Escher had 25, Alexander 45, Jason 41, ZMAC 41. So it was close. And then Escher unfortunately gets a straight down the middle on this, ends up with 29K. Alexander almost had an amazing third shimmy. There it is now.
oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
He almost had the trifecta. But Alexander gets 55K for his troubles. Zoller comes close. What does Zoller get?
Yeah, he finishes with looks like 50 and a half.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pretty close scores in this game, right?
Yeah.
On an EM.
Did you
so-
play this in qualifying?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I played this with ZMAC actually.
Oh, that's right. What did you guys? Do you
yeah.
remember what you guys ended up around?
I don't remember the scores. I want to say, I think Jack Tadman was in our group, and I think he may have taken first on the game.
Did he roll it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. You know,
Yeah.
he's great at classics, but I remember it being a very competitive match. So, yeah, that was a fun one.
So yeah, your
One
results.
that I hadn't played before.
Yeah. Say, I wish I had gotten a chance on. So what the results were? I'll let you take this.
Yeah. So in that game, it was Alexander in first, Jason in second, Zach in third, excuse me, and then Escher in fourth.
So after 2 games, we had Jason with 5, ZMAC with 3, Alexander with 3, and Escher with 1. So if Jason takes a first on our next game, F14 Tomcat, he's guaranteed to win Pinburgh. So we head up to F14 Tomcat. The order of players was Escher, ZMAC, Jason, and Alexander. Escher sort of with an uneventful ball 1. I played against him on this in the first round of qualifying. He did amazing as per the usual. ZMAC had a little miss on the slap save on his ball 1 to end up at 218K, but he did get 2 locks to progress for his multi-ball. So what do you know about F14 Tomcat?
Yeah. So you're really trying to spell Tomcat using the stand-up targets on there's 2 sets of Tom and 2 sets of Cat. They're on the lower and the upper play field. And then there's also 2, upper flippers that can kind of keep it in that upper play field area. So I just really kind of try to mash at those stand-ups to get those locks ready. So yeah, spelling Tomcat will light your locks for you to get to that multi-ball.
That's right. And does the right orbit spot a letter? Because I did see a lot of players shooting it.
I can't remember if this copy spotted letters. I think it may
did.
have.
Yeah, I think it did, because I remember them talking during commentary like, hey, he hit this one. Okay, I gave him this letter. And I see ZMAC just hit it or got his lock. So your lock is on the right orbit. There's also a right loop, a horseshoe loop in between the upper 2 flippers. And that's where you can build your bonus X, which can be super valuable. What you didn't see players shoot for, which I love shooting for because I like story mode progression, is that left kicker lane, because that I heard Steve call it the kicker of death. It just shoots it back to you. But if you hit that, it kills or defeats a pilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
you get your pilot kills.
And then you can get up to General Yagoff there. But the main strategy you want to focus is spelling your Tomcat. If you go down the right in lane, so you have a kickback on the left, Your right in lane is activated through the 2 center stand-ups in the center of the playfield. Your rescue, your flight pack insurance, whatever it's called, flight insurance. But if you go down the right in lane, it lights both of them, so you don't have to hit the roving one. So I just learned that, which is pretty cool. So if you ever get a right in lane and you don't have your kickback ready, shoot that center stand-up. It's a tough shot, but you want to try to hit it off to the side if you can on either left or right, because it will give you your kickback again. But then once you've activated your locks, you want to shoot that right orbit, and then you have to lock 3 balls during multi-ball. And once you do that, you can hit the jackpot shot for your what's it called, fighter jackpot, and it's like 700,000, 800,000 points. I don't know how to build it up, but I know that Zoller, his first ball wasn't too eventful at about 278,000. Alexander stepped up on his ball 1. He has a big move, and he ends up tilting. And this copy, I don't remember it being super tight, but man, he moved it there.
Yeah, I mean, he earned that tilt.
Yeah, right? I don't think he should have been surprised about that. So Escher, ball 2, steps up, has a small little flipper fumble. And I think it was sort of like trying to pass it, maybe not a flipper fumble, but quicker than normal drain, 291,000 for his ball 2. Z-Mac steps up, gets his 3rd enemy locked on his ball 2, begins multi-ball, loses 2 of them. Let me see if we can get to that multi-ball. There it is. Loses 2 of them quickly, so you get 4 balls. But he gets a lot of switch hits, which is kind of a unintended benefit of being in this multi-ball on F14 Tomcat. Balls are flying everywhere, hitting stuff. So Steve's pointing out on the telestrator on the footage we're watching, hey, you want to hit it up that right orbit. If you can find that right orbit, man, you are set, because that shot is so important on this copy. Because not only does it spot your letters, but if you have your locks ready, it'll lock the balls for you. So he ends up with 710,000, and then, here we go. Jason Zoller, ball 2. Is this the ball that clinches him the Pinburgh finals? Possibly. So what happens? I'll let you read some of the notes.
So he clears the chambers there, and then gets a free 75,000 off the plunge. Hits the landing, and then starts the multi-ball.
Yep.
And then he ends up scoring a fighter jackpot for over 700,000 points.
And there it is,
massive jackpot.
Yeah, and so he is the first of these 4 to get to his fighter jackpot, 781,000. And then what does he do?
Does he? He gets another multi-ball going.
Yeah,
right, on the same ball.
Starts another one. And so he's got his second multi-ball going, and he ends up with 3.3 million points on F14 Tomcat in Pinburgh in Division A in the finals. So he's got a healthy lead. Alexander steps up. He's got a little bit of I think he gets a little bit of a flipper fumble here. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit of a misread on where it was going. He's at about 418,000, but his multi-ball is ready.
Yeah, it's not a bad position. He's, I think, in 3rd at that point.
Yeah.
Just ahead of Escher going into ball 3.
Exactly. So. Yeah, great point. You kind of set yourself up to, because if you can land that fighter jackpot twice, you've already put yourself back into contention. So Escher's hitting his hot streak right there, which is the loop, the horseshoe loop. He does get a quick multi-ball, builds up his bonus X, and Escher ends up at 1.5 million points for his ball 3 in the final. So a great game by Escher. Just wasn't enough on this final. So Z-Mac comes up, quick drain, ends up with 866K. Zoller steps up. What does he do? Have another solid ball. Gets to 4.5 million. A slight flipper fumble at the end, but he had a max bonus X. We're going to put in the footage right here of his last ball. So I want to go there because I want to hear the commentary real quick.
Oh.
Okay, but he will take with a very big bonus.
Nice job.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is a
Yeah, he
big
had the
hill
max
climb
bonus X.
for Alexander.
So Alexander
It's 5
needs
and a
at
half.
least second
He
place.
needs
out
it
of
too.
this.
He
550
has to-
million.
He has to pass
Yeah,
Escher.
it was
He has to
crazy.
at least
So
get 1.5.
just
that
a
Escher
really,
has.
really nice, nice score.
I mean,
Alexander steps up. Unfortunately, got a quick right out lane drain, but congrats to Jason Zoller, finishing with 3 points, which puts him at 8. So there was nobody that could catch him because at the time, Escher did not get, or excuse me, Alexander had 3 at the time, so he would have been the closest to sort of stay in contention, but he got last. ZMAC got third. ZMAC got third on F14, so it ends up with Zoller with 8. Escher had 3 at that point. Alexander had 3, and ZMAC had 4. So your Pinburgh 2024 winner, congratulations, Jason Zoller. Your Whopper points. I'm gonna switch this real quick, and go to the Whoppers for Pinburgh. Let me get those up, and you can read them off. Take a look at those Whoppers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That 400% major boost coming into play here. For it's insane. So Jason takes home 321.8 Whoppers, extends his lead as the number 1 player overall in the world. Escher right behind him in second, with 280.2.
Yep.
Alexander in third, he finishes with 256.2. And then Zach McCarthy in fourth with 237.02. I'll go ahead and just read out the rest. So Matthew Richardson, shout out Matthew, has been crushing it lately. Finished tied for fifth, I believe, with Tommy Vernieri.
Yep.
With 220.5 Whoppers. Love to see someone ranked over 250.
Yeah.
Getting top 5, top 6 in a major. That's insane. Congrats to Tommy. Jordan Deshane, sorry. With 193 Whoppers there, and then let's see. It's a little. I think I've got it pulled up on my other screen.
Yeah, no
here.
worries. David Reel.
Yep, TJ Reel, finishing with 181. Then Steve Bowden right behind him. Looks like with just under.
Yeah, that's all good.
180 there.
It's cut off, so no worries. So yeah, so those were your winners. MJR Peanut, shout out to you. Really strong finish. He also finished strong at the Beast, which we'll go over later. But where's he play out of? DMV area or?
No, he's up in New Jersey, but
Okay.
he spends a lot of time at the Delaware Pinball Collective.
Nice.
So he plays against Jason a lot.
Yeah,
You know?
good place to practice. Good person to practice against.
Exactly.
So we'll go back, big screen. So I'll go back actually to this because what I want to do is, we won't watch all of it, but we end up with Harlem as the last game. There are some implications for cash and obviously Whoppers. This Harlem was played masterfully by everybody, but Escher, ball 3, by ball 2, Escher's already at 1.3 million. So he rolls it after ball 2. Everybody is, by the end, Alexander has 822K. By the end, Zoller has 1.57 million. Escher's ball 2 was unbelievable. Multiple globes, multiple spinner rips, ends up at 1.3 million. And ZMAC had a tougher outing on Harlem. He ends up in last with 266K. But the thing with Escher on ball 3, he just had a nice dig to get back to the saucer and get to the globe to take the first place score. Because at the time he was at 1.3, so he needed about 200,000, which is not a guarantee on Harlem. But I think it was like right around here. So yeah, there it is. It's just a nice dig, gets to the saucer, kicks it out. I think it gives him the globe here. No, it didn't. It was like somewhere around here, but he was just owning the tap pass on this. Like, if you want to know how to play Harlem, watch Escher's ball 2 and 3 at Pinburgh. If the tap passes work on your copy, this is what you should do. I saw Jason hit the inline drops from the upper flipper. So briefly about Harlem, we should talk strategy about this. Very simple game. Inline drops on the right, a reverse of Frontier, if you will. Each inline will spot
there.
Yeah, exactly. Each inline will spot a globe letter. If you collect all the globes, it's 50K. And then when you get to a certain amount of inlines, it increases your bonus multiplier 2x, 3x, and I think it goes up to 5x. Yes.
5x. Yep.
Most copies in competition will have the super bonus turned off. You can increase, you can get to that by increasing your bonus. And when you do hit the inline drops, your spinner on the left increases in value per spin up to, I think, 2,000 a rip. And Escher was just owning this, absolutely owning this copy. Again, I would strongly recommend. Is there a gate on this? Yes, there is. The gate opens on the right. I forgot how you activate that. Is that through the inlines?
It's that no, it's that stand-up target that's kind of flashing right there on the right side.
Gotcha, and that's where your special is too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So that's a little bit of a quickish drain after playing forever. What it's you see people clapping there. But yeah, he ends up almost rolls it, gets 2.97. Like, I think there were people going, boo, he didn't roll it a third time. He was like, I wanted to roll it a third, but really, really masterful performance. Again, your results: Escher first, Zoller second, Alexander third, ZMAC fourth on Harlem. And your finals overall winners were, as Joseph said earlier. So, but there was a tiebreaker. It was held on Mandalorian. I want to give a shout out to the commentators, Elizabeth Cromwell, Bill Mason, and Steve Bowden for great commentary on the Pinburgh A finals. In Mando, we'll just go over it quickly. I'm not going to go over strategy. It's been around forever. Center loop all day. Alexander had a masterful ball 2. He was on first, let me get to ZMAC. ZMAC had Ice Spiders multi-ball on ball 2.
Yep.
This copy played super brutal, but then I don't think he had a quick exit there, but then he started jetpack multi-ball. So by his ball 2, he was ended at about 103 million. But then Alexander steps up and gets an amazing jetpack multi-ball. He had about 165 million to finish it.
Wow. That's a big jetpack.
Yeah, and he gets 281 million for his troubles. Come back here, and he wins the tiebreaker, so he ends up in third place. ZMAC in fourth. Again, congratulations to everybody. It was an amazing finals to watch. Final thoughts: go watch it for AIQ and tap pass lessons on Harlem. Jason had a great game on F14 to show you where you should, if you find that right orbit, just spam it all day. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, they all played exceptionally well. If you look at the scores, I know they're still up on Never Drains.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to figure out how to play any of these 4 games that they played in the finals, this is basically the tutorial for for those.
Yeah, I think it was fitting too. It was a good bank. I don't think anything played super long. They made AIQ play long. Like they made it play longer than I've ever seen it played. I'm glad they took Barracora out. I think for a return to Pinburgh, it was a solid competition and what it should be and what it'll grow to be. It'll grow even bigger next year. I'm hoping it's 256 or 288. So if they could find a spot.
3,
So
2, 1.
all right. So after the main division winners, we had let me go ahead and actually get us to our little TV because I want to highlight the B division winners in Pinburgh. Did we have? Shoot, I don't think I actually had them. I'm so sorry.
We can. I think we have the results on our kind of notes here.
Oh, on our notes. Okay. Can you? Oh, yeah. There we are. Sorry. So in first place, B division in Pinburgh, they had a bank of Dr. No, James Bond, Freakout, Mousing Around, and Paragon. Your first place winner was Braden Gentry. Second place, Augustus Eustace. Third place, Greg Galanter. Andrew Cushman in fourth. Congratulations to all your B winners. I apologize, I don't have a picture. Actually, I only saw one picture from Pinburgh of the winners. I should have got those before. Congratulations to you, gentlemen. That was not easy. I know a lot of people were qualifying for B. I was at the top of B for like the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then I just tanked. I will say, shout out to me for getting 6 fourth place finishes in a row.
Oh my. With Pinburgh scoring just zeros.
Oh my God. I thought I was going to get points out of Pinburgh. I got him from Bash, but holy cow. I would have got at least like, I think let me see what the main, so if you would have finished, so the lowest score I have on my card is like 7 or 8. And I think Pinburgh, if you would have finished where I thought it was, I actually did think it was locked in after day 1, but there was substantial play at Pinburgh on day 2. So your ranking actually could change. I would have finished about with 15 to 16 points. So that's on me. I finished terrible. It's like one tied for 124. I was at the top and then I just floundered. So congratulations
it's a
to
tough
the
format.
It is. It was a good
Tough
learning
format.
experience, like I said. But now we're going to go to the women's real quick, or not quick, but we're going to talk about the women's WIPT. Congratulations to all the ladies that came and competed. Let me get the class, their footage up.
Is it whip it or is it whipped?
I thought it was WIPT, but maybe it's WIP.
You can see everything.
I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, maybe I should look that up.
All right. So what we have here, well, this was this the semifinals? No, this was, okay, excuse me. Sorry. This was game 1. There's game
Yes.
1. So
I would
this
assume.
was the semifinals, and then you had
This other person in her family who's so into it. And the same thing with Jen.
audio down. And then, okay, so we had a tiebreaker, and then whipped starts. You had Priyanka, and then I apologize, I forgot the names of the other commentators. Maybe if you know them, but if you don't, that's all good. But thank you, ladies, for commentating. I should have taken those notes. But the first game up on Whipped was Target Pool. I have a note here. Target Pool, you have to hit all 5 trillion stand-ups and get enough of those shots. The yellow arrows will be worth 300 points instead of 50. So this was a 1-player game. And Zoe Vrabel, your 4 finalists were Zoe Vrabel, Valencia Kelly, Deborah Tallman, and Leslie Ruckman, Rucko. 4 amazing players, and this was in my bank, and it was just really tough to get a handle on control of the ball because the flippers are short. You've got a ton of stand-ups. What do you know about Target Pool?
Yeah, I just pulled up the Bob Matthews guide. I think also right before I played it. It's saying you have to hit. You want to hit 14 of the 15 numbers, and then hopefully not hit one of the 1 to 5 or 9 to 15.
Okay.
And then you want to shoot the lit targets, which are worth 300 points.
Okay,
they're
so-
only worth 50 points if they're not lit.
Gotcha. So
and then if you can light the bumper, it's worth 100 points, and then you can just send it up there and hope for some good, pop action.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about that. So you can get well, it says it right there. Yeah. So Zoe is up, player 1. Her first 3 balls, quick drains, which is typical for this. By ball 4, she has 1,696 points. You get 100 for your troubles on the out lane. I do want to highlight a couple of her moves. We're going to get to that at 26-16. What we're going to do is watch and let the commentators announce it.
When I was playing from her, and she's also the #1 seed, she is the one to beat.
Absolutely.
Oh, amazing save.
Insane dig.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just an insane dig to save the ball. And what's crazy is
Just
right
a great
after this
ball.
dig, she's not even done because guess what she gets for her troubles here?
The way Target Pool is set up is, you feed the lanes at the top, and then that triangle has, it has 2 big slings on the top, like right here and right here.
Does she just need the 12?
She gets the Laz.
Yeah, she got
the
it.
friendly
Got it.
Laz, and she has a really great ball 5. She was just crushing these targets. Again, by ball 4, she had 1,700 points. And what does she have by the end of ball 5? 5 points.
She finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 5,000 points. That's crazy.
Right,
I remember
like-
it kind of looked like she was a little frustrated just because the
Yep.
balls were kind of draining pretty quickly. But then she just completely locks in for ball 5 and puts up a banger of a final ball.
That is a great phrase. She was the definition of locked in. Like she was at the locked in factory, putting in work, not clocking out, just staying focused. Like that was a really, really good example of how even after 4 balls, you get ball 3, ball 5 magic, you can do a lot on these EMs and these classics. You don't need to prep anything. Everything's sort of by that time hopefully set up for you. You've just got to get some good bounces and feeds and send it back up top. So Valencia,
one ball.
yeah, exactly. I need a shirt that says it just takes one ball. And then if I wear it out in public, get yelled at by somebody that had, something to anyway, so Valencia steps up just like Zoe. Tough 3 balls. Yep. By the end of ball 3, she's at 1.6K, but she has a good ball 5, and she ends up with about 35. Let me see. It was right here. 35.05. So we get to Deborah, who has probably the best game of target pool I've ever seen. And it wasn't on her first 3 balls. I mean, she does have, by the end of ball 3, I think about 30, let me see, about 3,600. By the end of ball 4, she's at, let me see, about 4,500 or so, maybe a little more. And 4,800. So she's at 4,800 by the end of ball 4. So we've just seen Zoe go from 1,700 to 5,600. So 4,000. So what does Deborah do? She says, I'll see you one better, and just owns target pool. Hits every shot in the history of target pool shot making, and completes her round, her journey through this amazing EM with 9,100 points. She gets almost 5,000 points on ball 5, was just knocking every target, lit, unlit, didn't matter. Owned this.
Surviving.
Absolutely owned this. Wrote the guide on it now. I'm sorry, Bob.
Almost rolls it.
Yes. Right? I've never seen anybody get close to rolling this. So congratulations, Deborah. We get to El Rucco, Leslie Ruckman. Unfortunately, target pool treats her how it treats almost everybody. By the end of ball 4, she's sitting around, let me see where it was. Let me get the volume down. Okay, she was right here. And then so by ball 4, she's at about 22,000 or so. She ends up with 3,200 points, basically. So Deborah in first, Zoe in second, Valencia in third, Leslie in fourth. Going into everyone's favorite, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, stars. What do we know about stars?
Stars, yeah. So there's a couple ways to play this game. I think the most common is to shoot the star targets that are kind of scattered across the playfield. But you can and then once you hit all 5 stars, it will light a roving star target worth 100,000 points. Another strategy is to kind of build up your bonus. I believe it maxes out at 19,000 points.
That's right.
Which you can do from hitting the in lanes. Some copies you can shats on it. And then once you build those in lanes up, you can multiply that bonus value by clearing a bank of the drop targets up in the middle of the playfield.
Nice. And there's a bonus multiplier on so how do you get the 3x? You have to clear both banks? I know 2x is just one.
I think you just have to clear another set of the bank.
Okay.
The drops. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have Deborah. We had Leslie on ball 1. Or no, excuse me. Yes, Sorry, I have this written wrong. It's Deborah was player 1. I fixed that real quick. So when Deborah, Zoe, Valencia, Leslie, after game 1, Deborah was in the lead with 3 points. Zoe second with 2. Valencia with 1. And then Leslie had 0. But this is Pinburgh's, or regular. It's not is it Papa scoring 3210 or that's 4210?
That's 4210. This is Pinburgh scoring.
Pinburgh
which is
scoring.
3210.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. So Deborah, really good ball one, had all 5 stars lit. Great ball. Another thing with the spinner, when you hit the stars, they increase the value of the spinner, which was important at the Beast copy because it was so tough. And if you were lucky enough to get some of these stars, people weren't going for the stars. They were definitely trying to build up, get the bonus first. And then if they got lucky with some stars, then start ripping the spinner. The left spinner copy at the Beast for a good time was rejecting and not giving you anything. So you could only do right spinner. But this version played really well. This one had the center post. They re-added it. It was a steel post. Again, this might have been the copy and bash at the Burgh didn't have the center post. So it was nice for the ladies here because they did have some center post saves, some trust falls. El Rucco stepping up. For her ball one, she had 4 stars knocked down with double bonus, and she ends up with 64,000 after her ball one, which is amazing because sometimes people only get 40, 50,000 after 3 balls.
Oh, yeah.
But Valencia had a good quick drain on hers. She was at 4,500. So we'll go to ball 2. After El Rucco's great ball here again, Leslie was sitting comfortably in second. Deborah stepping up with 125,000. Are there any 5-ball stars modes, or is it only 3 balls?
Yeah, no, I've definitely played stars with 5 balls. That's usually the first question I ask when I play stars. Is like, how many balls is 3 or 5?
That's right.
You're inevitably going to take a house ball, you know.
This is a great tiebreaker game. And I will say, at a tournament I just played at, shout out to the DFW League and Mike Lockle for opening up his amazing pin barn, or event 10 to open the fall season. There was a copy of Joust, and I always know that we have tiebreakers on stars, like 1 ball stars, but man, if Joust was a more popular pin, maybe we could have tiebreakers on head-to-head Joust between people.
Oh,
like
I've done that.
You have?
I've done that at Holy Frijoles. They have 2-player Joust.
Dude, that's awesome.
And we've done tiebreakers on that 2-player Joust before.
That is such a great idea. Oh, I'm glad it's been done before then. That makes me happy. So Deborah had a quick drain on ball 2, slipped through the center post to the right flipper. And that's the thing on stars generally. You're always going to think it's going to like give you enough leeway, or wherever the feed is coming from, it's going to hit the tip, but man, it slips through so many times. And I don't know if it's because of the flipper gap that's normal for this era, but there you see Zoe had a slip right through the center post through the flipper.
Yep.
So a little bit of a fumble there, ends up with 24,000. Valencia steps up, nudged it great on her ball 2, but couldn't save the right outlane drain. Where was she? Let me see if we can see that. I think I saw this. I don't know if it was quick or not on the footage, but she did have she saved it there, but boom, see, it just in and out. Reminds me of those Elwyn in-lane, out-lane drains. And then Leslie steps up for an absolutely amazing ball 3, gets her triple bonus. The ball gets stuck on the drops for her right around there. There's the footage. She's got 3 of the 5 stars. She ends up with, and shout out to all the TDs and techs at Pinburgh, she ends up with 152,000 for her troubles after ball 2. Deborah comes to ball 3. She gets a hard to read feed. I think I want to see this one again. There was it kind of bounced out a little off the left plastic to left top of the left post, and it kind of thought it was going to the left flipper, but it slipped in through the right. She ends up with 156,000, so she takes the lead. Again, stars is not a gimme. You could plunge and get a house ball. So Zoe comes up, gets her quick drain for her troubles, no fault of her own. It's just that's stars. Yep. And she ends up with 36,000. So she's sitting in she was sitting in third, and Valencia has a great ball 3 to take third place. She gets 68,000, and then here's El Rucco stepping up to take her ball 3 and hopefully take first place, and gets enough switch hits, pop love. She ends up with a quick finish, as once she passes Yeah, once she passes Deborah, she gets the look over there like, yes. And luckily it was because she looked over. She had flipped and kind of looked over at the same time to confirm, but it went to the right out lane. So I was like, oh no. Like, hold
Yeah,
on.
she's good. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
So
fine.
Leslie takes first, Deborah takes second, Valencia takes third, Zoe takes fourth. After 2 games, this was a 3-game final. We have Leslie with 3, Deborah with 5, Valencia with 2, and Zoe with 3. So there is a chance it could still be anybody's game if Deborah takes a last. And where are we going?
Going over to Avatar.
Yeah. So what do you know about Avatar? Because I put in my notes. You know what's funny? I've hit the wizard mode on this. I've beaten this game, but I've never. I didn't know what it was. I know there's shots. I know there were shots, but we have a copy at Space Quest arcade nearby. And I went and I played it for the first time. And it's not, it's set up stock, but it's not like 5-degree pitch. But I beat it. And I didn't realize I beat it till I looked up the mode I was at. I was like, wait a minute. I think everything's lit. So what do you know about it?
Yeah, no, Avatar is a really great tournament game. We used to have one on location. But my strategy on this was kind of just to buy the flippers. I would, on the left flipper, I would backhand Link to kind of get the capture, get the ball in there, and then you can kind of bash it a few times to start a 2-ball multi-ball. And then from the right flipper, I would go for the left ramp. And then I think if you hit it enough times, it starts Banshee, which is one of the modes in the game. And then obviously if you could build progress towards either Link multi-ball or the Amp Suit multi-ball, which is on the right side, you have to kind of hit those stand-ups to drop the visor. And then you have to hit the Amp Suit. There's a stand-up target back there enough times, kind of like the Raptor pit in Jurassic Park. If you hit it enough times, it will start a multi-ball for you there as well.
Nice. Very good explanation. Thank you. I remember, I know a lot of them it has a decent amount of multi-balls. And I think when I was ramping out, I was getting good scoring during that Banshee scoring. So everything else was kind of just by luck. Cause I know there's like characters you collect. And then what are the inserts on that are forming like an infinity stone hand across the center? Are those the modes?
I think those might be, you mean the colored inserts in the middle of the playfield? Yeah, I believe those are the modes. Once you play them, they should light. Another thing is completing those top lanes will light a shot multiplier with those green lights, kind of similar to the shot multipliers on Guardians of the Galaxy. Once you complete all the stand-ups.
Nice.
Is it from the stand-ups? Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And, timely topic. Some people are happy that Stern doesn't have this theme as their next one, but JJP, shout out Nap Arcade, revealing that their next
The Way of Water.
Yeah, with their shoot again, questionable shoot again insert shape. I'll let you go take a look at it and see. It's like a half eye of Sauron, if you know what I mean. But congrats to JJP for picking up. I actually think this is going to be a really good pin for them because of the light.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, just the light show alone. Yep. People really enjoyed, and we'll get back to the coverage of Avatar, WIPT Avatar. But just the light show alone, people love Stranger Things with the UV kit. JJP's got to knock it out of the park. And I think with the recent success of Elton John and getting a faster, better designed pin, man, it's going to crush it. It is going to be funny looking at the inserts that are on the picture that Jason Knapp posted on naparcade.com. Commentators trying to pronounce all the modes and stuff. So we're going to be like, yeah, this is RVS mode or TJS multi-ball because you don't know how to say it in the Navi language. So anyways, back to the action. Ball one for all 4 ladies. Very uneventful. Just quick drains. Leslie with 543,000. Deborah prepped her multi-ball, 610,000. Valencia quick ball, 619. And Zoe quick ball, 562. You do get a few 100,000 out of your skill shot, I think.
Yep.
So I did have a question. I didn't know if you knew the answer. I noticed on Zoe for her ball two, she short plunged. Instead of taking the skull shot, she ended up with a quick Slingtown drain. Is there a reason you would short plunge?
Yeah. Sometimes you can kind of short plunge it and then kind of smack the side of the cabinet, depending on how the feed is, just to catch it on the right flipper, so you can kind of get ball and flipper. Because when you plunge it to the top lanes, it's going through the pops, and you have no idea where it's going to go, right? So you have to survive that kind of plunge through the pops. But short plunging it, usually it's to get the ball in the flipper.
Okay, I didn't know if there was something like a super secret skill shot, but you said you can backhand the amp suit or the link, right?
Yeah, you can probably backhand the amp suit visor targets too, but I probably tried to avoid that just because it's a little dangerous. From the left flipper, I would backhand the link target or the link kind of shot.
So what are you doing from the right flipper? Because that's where they were short plunging to.
From the right flipper, I would hit the Banshee ramp on the left.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know when I played it during qualifying, I was able to play a almost 8 or 9 million point Banshee mode, just single ball. So it can get pretty lucrative just from that one shot, and it's a safe feed to the right flipper every time you hit that ramp. So as long as you can dial that shot in, it's not a bad strategy.
Nice. Okay, so we have Rocco here, Leslie up on her ball 2. She gets her link lock set up. She ends up with 2.5 million. The score is really low because it was just such a tough playing avatar.
It was tough.
No ball save, super tight. Deborah ends up going up again. So the way this would work, Deborah would have to get last or last or third for anybody to tie her that had 3 points. So if she got last and Valencia gets first, you had a possible 5-5-5. But here, Deborah ends up prepping her amp suit multi-ball, finishes with about 3.4 million. Valencia steps up, missed the magnet shot on her backhand, gets a left out lane drain for her troubles, but she ends up with 3.1 million. And Zoe has what I was asking about before. She does this short plunge, and then she hit the forehand, but it went to the right out lane. So that's kind of why I had that question before. So after 2 balls, Zoe 1 million, Valencia 3.1, Deborah 3.4, Leslie with 2.5. So she does this plunge right here. We'll watch this because if Leslie does get a good score here, she has a chance to take first because everybody else was in contention as well. But her plunge doesn't go all the way, and she gets some slings to a right out lane drain. So with that, Deborah is guaranteed 6 points minimum, right? 6 points minimum. And I might have had the points. Let me just double check. She basically sealed her victory. I think I had the points. Let me see what Valencia had 2, excuse me. Not 3. And what did Zoe have? She had 2 as well. So this was wrong. So so after 2 games, it was basically up to Deborah getting last. So once Leslie didn't catch Deborah, she secured her WIPT victory. Congratulations to Deborah Tallman for taking first place. The way Avatar ends with Valencia takes first, Deborah takes second, Leslie takes third, Zoe takes fourth. And your winner and WIPT points for, let me see if I have the WIPT Whoppers. I'm pretty sure I do. So we'll get out of here, come back. Whoops. Then we'll go here. Whoops. We'll go here, I said. And then the WIPT Whoppers, I have them right here. And you can go ahead and read those off if you'd like.
Yeah, those are big. Deborah Tallman taking first place with 116.6 Whoppers there. Valencia Kelly taking second with 90.7. Leslie Ruckerman, El Rucco, taking third with 76.8. And then Zoe Vrabel rounding out the top 4 with 66.3. It was great. Great event. And really exciting finals there. Yeah,
it was good. And it was nice that it was a 3-game. I kind of prefer that, but it was the ladies put on a show. And then we return to Pinburgh, get your name on the banner. Again, congrats to Deborah. That's always cool to see. One day I'll get there, but hopefully. And then, so there was another side tournament going on. This is where I finished with some whoppers. I qualified. It was like top 28. I think I qualified like 27 or 28. I put a lot of, it was a pump and dump, so I put a lot of money to make sure that happened. But it was fun. Everything
Nice.
played well. Shout out to all the volunteers, scorekeepers, guys and gals. Just stay there constantly. Hearing everybody say, please void and requeue, please void and requeue. But the winner of your Bash at the Burgh, Chris Stevens, who I saw his post, he was like, oh, I didn't get into Pinburgh, but he got some whoppers for his Bash at the Burgh.
Oh yeah.
Finish 110 for his troubles. Jeff Teolis, 96 points for second place. Elliot Keith, DMV legend, 88 points. Andy Pickens, 76, tied with Bill for 76. Wow, three-way tie actually for fourth. Gregory Kennedy, that's right. Bash at the Burgh was a 3 strikes format. It was 0-0-1-1, and if you were unfortunate to get in a 3-player group, it was 0-1-1. So Gregory Kennedy, 76.14, Brian Dye, 66, Sean Lynn, 66, Brian O'Neill, 50 and change, a little over 55, I think. So we do have a picture. I want to show a picture of the trophy for Bash at the Burgh because it was an amazing trophy. Excuse me. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That's an awesome trophy. Like, I was really, really jealous. Like, that's one of the best trophies I've seen. The
Big.
giant neon sign, if you're not watching the video that we have up, Chris won a huge Bash at the Burgh neon lit sign. It says 2024, cool font, Bash at the Burgh. Jeff and Elliot sadly looking on with their little plaques. but you guys got a lot of whoppers, so nothing to complain about. Again, final thoughts on Pinburgh. Amazing event. Too many pros to list. Really set up well. If we're going to mention anything, maybe a variety in the banks chosen for players. Whoppers were huge. They took a while to come out, but that's normal because everything's got to be manually input. But they are there. Go check them out. It'll stay on my card for a year at least before the decay hits. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I had a great time. I heard some people kind of compare Pinburgh to like Pinball Summer Camp, and I think that's a great kind of analogy where I think one of the days, it was Saturday, we went out in the parking lot and kind of grilled out during our dinner break. So it was,
you guys took part. I was trying to park and I saw tailgating going on. I was like, hey, what the hell? But now I got to park over there. No, but that was super cool. It was.
Saw a lot of cars drive by. We're just like, yeah, no, you can't park here. We got something going on.
It was a really cool event. The camaraderie is excellent, and I really hope it doubles up in registrations. Get ready for F5 Day again, probably February 5th, and I hope to see everybody there again. I will make it. I already talked with my family. They were like, this worked out well, so hopefully I can do Pinburgh and the Beast every year if we take the summer trip to Michigan to visit family. And it was great seeing you there. You're gonna get tired of seeing me at all of these events. It's a lot of fun, and kudos to everybody. So with that said, we go on to our next in-depth review. We're sitting at about under 2 hours. If you're listening to this, I want to say expect more of this. We'll try to get our efficiency better, but I really want to make sure we give in-depth review of these tournaments. This is a tournament-focused podcast. We'll have some fun as well. But it's a big summer. We've got a lot to talk about.
Really.
There's just a lot of tournaments, and we hope you guys enjoy this content. So with that said, where are we heading to? We're heading to the great state of New York and
Buffalo.
home of Levy. Boo. What did you say, Boo?
Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo. My undergrad close by, Syracuse, New York. I will say I did ask for recommendations for chicken tendy sandwiches. And I got a great recommendation. I think it was called Jim's, and fuck, man, it was so good. It was so freaking good. Shout out Dave Sousa for the recommendation, the local Buffalo player and private collector there. His hard body was in use. And one thing I didn't get to put into this podcast, but I will say it at the outset. If you want to see a great match for a tiebreaker, it's probably one of the best I've seen. Please go watch the tiebreaker between Tom Graff and Levy Naiman in the first round on hard body, on Dave Sousa's hard body. It was so close, and it was just a great great grind from both of them. Not a long grind, but it was a great grind of two veteran players, not in a sarcastic way, just really skilled players. And Tom pulled it out by, barely anything. And it was really fun playing with them. I think this is my first time playing with Levy. And a great guy, great commentator, infamous on Pinside. Talk to him about pinball prices. I think he'll love you for that. But we're off to the Beast. So let's get some Beast footage going. And let me take this one off. We still have this final. So what we're going to do, actually, before we do that, we'll take a look at the Whoppers for everybody at the Beast. And let me see. We'll take down the Pinburgh photo. Bash at the Burgh, we can do that. And so let's do our Beast Division B winners. I want to give them a shout out as well. There's a picture right here that we're showing on the video footage. So your B Division winners were, give me one sec, I have it here. Yep. So we had Chris Warren, I believe from Alabama, and I got to talk to him again. I hadn't seen him since some District 82 competitions that we had. So congratulations to Chris for taking first, Eric Russell in second, Jared Lemankowitz in third, and Christina Capra. The name of their channel escapes me. I think it's like Cool Cat Pinball. But her and Jamie were there. Jamie's an amazing player, and Christina as well. But congratulations to them for their B Division finals placements. Again, Chris, Eric, Jared, and Christina 1 through 4. Shout out to you all for your win. And then we'll go back and take a look at the footage now. And then we'll get to the Whoppers at the end. So let me just make sure I have the footage ready. And so we'll go to Classics first.
Design.
That bleeds
All over the
into,
playfield, you'll find pure innovation.
That goes into the main finals. And I also want to make sure I give the correct shout out to the footage. Mike Castleman of the Pinballers, thank you so much for streaming. He was having trouble left and right because of the Wi-Fi and because of sometimes the connection to the camera. It's not easy streaming. If you've ever tried to stream pinball, no one will ever tell you it's easy. It takes multiple cameras. I'm sitting on thousands of dollars of camera equipment right here behind me just to try and stream from my house. But then if I try to stream like Elden Ring, all I need is like a little button in my PS5 and it's easy. So thank you, Pinballers. Mike, you did a great job. I know you were stressing, but everybody thanks you for the excellent coverage. It was nice to meet nice to meet you in person. He's a fellow TPN member. Your son Carter and wife Lisa were really, really cool to talk to. And so we're going to go to the Classics. Let's pull this up. So the Classics, the format of the Beast, pump and dump for both qualifying. There was and also show the winners of the Thursday tournament actually real quick. So let's go back to that real fast. There was a picture of them. I forgot about that. The Beast. I just want to make sure I give everybody their due. So here is the winners of your Thursday warm-up. So was this a strikes? I forgot. I think it was.
It was no, it was just straight match play.
Match play. That's right. Yeah, Tom was in my group at the beginning. So your winners are there. Carter in first, Carter Castleman. Matt in second, Tom Graff in third, and then I forgot the name of the gentleman on the right. Do you know? I apologize.
I can pull it up real quick. 1 sec.
Yeah, I want to make sure you give your due. I forgot to pull this.
Jason McKay.
Okay, got it. Congrats to you guys. Looks like you won some cash there. Maybe some Whoppers. It wasn't a big Whopper tournament, but it was a good warm up to test the pins. Yeah. And again, thank you.
Just to get some flipper time in. I think they were on the games that were not in the main tournament.
That's right. Because I was playing Houdini and I was like, oh God, I hope this isn't. And we'll get to that in the women's. But thank you to Jeff, Bruce, EJ, Ryan Shepard. There's going to be so many names I'm missing. But thank you to all the TDs and techs. That was a hard tournament to run, especially as a pump and dump. things were breaking, but they were right on it. It
Yep.
got a little hectic. You heard some yelling going on back. Get out of the main area if you're not qualifying. I get it. I totally get it. I did some scorekeeping. It was fun. All the volunteers, you were great. Really, really cool event. Good whoppers out of it too. So we're gonna go back.
Mhm.
We're gonna go back to the footage, and then we'll talk about the classics. So let me get the classics going real quick. And so we had the women qualifying there, and then yes. So did I have the wrong footage here? I shouldn't. Classics and main qualifying. Okay. All right, here we go. So
Okay.
we're back.
We have score at least.
Let's get to your classics main player. So you had Gregory Kennedy, Alberto Santana, Paul Karras, and Nick Greenan. When I streamed more regularly, shout out to Nick. He's always one of the ones that redeems those first redeems, like in Los's channel. I had one too. He would always try to redeem it. But it was nice meeting him. Great players here.
Yeah.
Super solid. Obviously, Greg Kennedy, Alberto. I think with this took first in New York State with the points. And yeah, we'll get to the Whoppers later. But these were your top 4 qualifiers. So first game, Frontier. What is the strategy on Frontier?
Yeah, Frontier. So usually you want to hit that first inline drop on the left that lights your spinner on the right for 1,000 to spin. Otherwise, you are trying to fill that grid in the middle of the play field. It's called the Den of Predators. So you fill that grid by hitting the in lanes at the top of the play field. So usually you want to kind of just rip spinner all day to get up to the top of the play field and then get those top lanes completed.
Yeah, and you can get some really friendly bounces from those pops up to the rollover lanes up top, which will fill out your grid much quicker. So Joe's right. The strategy there is hit your inline to light the spinner and then just go spinner all day. There's also a really cool little saucer on the top right that collects. What does it collect? Your bonus?
It is a bonus collect. So there's a little kind of slot on the side to the right of the pops and then the left of the saucer up there. That's always open, but it's a pretty tight spot. So like you got to be kind of lucky to just get it to kind of to go. You can't just aim for it, just to go in from the pops.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I forgot what opens the gate, but there is a gate at the top that will let you collect that bonus as well.
Yeah, and I've seen where you can collect it and then it kicks out and then it goes through the pop and it collects it again. So really fun game. I really want to own this solid state. It's one of my favorites along with Paragon, Harlem. I just love the way it plays. It's very simple. Again, inlines. Is there anything at the top of it's the 5X? What's at the top of the stand up on the left side after you hit all the inlines? A special, or is it like worth 50K? There's like a stand up up there.
There is a stand up. I think is it 60? Let me see. It's worth a decent amount of points for sure.
Because it reminds me of like the Flash Gordon. Once you cleared all those drops, there's like a stand up you could just keep hitting over and over again. So strategy, inlines, rip spinner, build up your grid, get the bonus multipliers. There's drops on the right as well. And there's a stand up in the middle that you want to avoid, even if it's lit. Just don't shoot for it. Go spinner all day. Your spinner's worth 1,000 every time, and then you'll get some friendly rebounds from the pops up top to the rollovers. So we had players 1 and 3 only to prevent tilt through. It's becoming more popular in tournaments because people don't want to be penalized. I don't like playing players 1 and 3, but I understand why it's done. So here we had let me see. Yeah, so on this review, we had Nick Greenan just absolutely blow it up, 900,000 on ball 1. By the second ball, he had his grid almost filled up again, cleared all the inlines on ball 1 and 2, ends up at 1.86 million. Alberto, no slouch either there. He ends up with a little over $1 million. House balls for Paul, unfortunately. He gets about 69,000. And Gregory finished with about 300,000. So after Frontier, was done. It was Nick, and this was Papa scoring. So 4-2-1-0.
Yep.
Nick was in first with 4 points. Alberto in second with 2 points. Gregory in third with 1, and then Paul with 0. So from Frontier, we're just going to skip through most of it just because it wasn't a long playing one, but kind of straightforward. If you want to watch the footage again, go to twitch.tv/pinballers. I would strongly recommend watching Nick's play. He was the third player. So he was on the second set of competitors. So again, they were playing balls 1 and 2, or players 1 and 3. But he just had an absolutely masterful Frontier game. I've seen scores in the millions before, but this copy was not playing friendly. So he did really, really well. So the next game we have is Golden Arrow. Have you played Golden Arrow before?
You know, I have not seen this game before, and I did not participate in Classic, so I have not even played it either.
So yeah, so this was my first time seeing it. So the way it works is there are in lanes everywhere. There are looks like 10 in lanes. They're all lit. When you roll through one of them, it's 5K. There's a lit arrow, and that's your golden arrow. When you hit that, it's 5K. The way you move it around the play field is hitting the spinners on the top left or right. So the spinner shot on this was early on each flipper. So the feed was also super dangerous. So if you didn't get a strong flip to the spinners, it would sort of come back through that same spinner and go straight down the middle. So the way you want to, the scoring on this is super front loaded because you'll plunge, you'll hit an in lane or two, and then maybe you hit the stand-ups on the left and right, which when lit green, I think are 5K as well. So they kind of alternate through switch hits. You're going to get stuck on the pops. Your pop in the middle is 1,000, which is awesome. So scores in qualifying were around 100. Really good scores were like high 150 and above.
Yep.
But you get 5 balls. It's tilt ends ball. The way it works is you plunge, get your in lane, try to hit a couple more. You'll get about 20 to 30 through your in lanes, and then you want to get through your spinner up top wherever your lit golden arrow is. So if it's in a place that sucks, like on the side right now, where it looks kind of what happened here, Gregory went first, right? He had 42,000 after ball 1. There was a little bit of a delay because he thought he was awarded some phantom points. He was like, how did I get so many points? But that was, and they looked at the footage, and I think it was just he has, if you look at what we're watching now again, go to YouTube/Frisco Pinball. It'll also be up on the Pinball Network. You'll see some of it, his in lanes are lit, are already solid gray, which means he's hit them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 25, or excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm seeing 35K already. So he was worried that he was being awarded phantom points, but the decision was to play on because there was no way to determine what points may have been inadvertently given. And so I think the smart TD decision here was to play on. And the announcers, it was Greg and Levy, I believe, saying he actually probably did earn that score because you get 5K per lit in lane. And then also there's a center rollover target that will move the arrow as well. It's in the middle of the golden cross. I actually like this game a lot after playing it a ton. Even I probably spent $40 on it, but
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I just told myself, oh, I know I can do this. I can do this. It wasn't until the very end that I figured out where that stupid spinner shot was. But there is a discussion I want to ask you. So, and I'll get to the example of it because I think it's a really interesting conversation to have when you're playing this. So let me see, where was it? I think it was his last ball. Where's Gregory? Okay, so when your arrow is on, so see where his arrow is on the bottom left?
Yes.
It's on the 9. So Levy was saying in the commentary, look, this copy doesn't have a clean in-lane return. It rattles around. Let me see if I can get to the footage where it was. I'll try to find it. So do you do what he's doing now? So his arrow is on the 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing in the finals. do you attempt the shots from left to right to try and trigger? So if you trigger that in lane, it would go up and down and it would give you 10,000 points because you're going up for 5,000 and down for 5,000. So that golden arrow is in a great spot. It's in a non-dangerous. Do you try to shats it on a copy that doesn't give you a clean feed, or do you try to move it to you move it to the spinner shot up top and get it to there are two stand-ups in the middle of the playfield, 8 and 7. You can sort of see them. That's a safer shot because it's closer and your return won't be as crazy because the slings weren't super powerful here. But Levy was saying, look, don't get cute. Take your spinner points, move the arrow, and try to get it somewhere else. Or do you go for the shots and go up and down? What would you do?
Yeah, no, I like the decision there to shots. I think it also depends on. Yeah, I mean, there you go, right there, right.
So he got it on the left one.
Oh, you're talking left to right instead.
Yeah, so he hit, but he did get 5,000 points for that because it was lit. So his arrow's on the right, but you see him going back and forth. Yep. And he gets one, so he gets the 10,000. But then it just kind of like, he was only successful once, I think, out of all the players, maybe twice. But I kind of agree with Levy here. Take the shot up the center, so get a good rip, and your arrow moves, and maybe it goes up top to the 2 or 3 up top, and then it goes up and down. But I can see the argument too. Levy was like, all these young hot shots shatsing for days, but you're not getting it. What is there's no consensus, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's situational, obviously, but I think if you're confident in the shots, which I feel like I'm pretty, that's a tool that I like to use in my toolbox a lot. If I can, then yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going for the shots.
Yeah, and I think that's a good decision here. I like the spinner shot. I don't think there's a wrong suggestion because you could hit it up the spinner. It could be weak and then it could give you straight down the middle, or it could move it to an arrow that wasn't as easy as the 6 or the 8. But really good discussion. Gregory ends up with 132,000 on his ball. So he is in a good position because during finals, that was a very good score to have.
Yep.
And then Alberto comes up second, and he unfortunately just gets what everybody else gets, four basically quick balls. And then by ball 5, he's at around 75,000, which isn't bad, but he shatsed it to get to the arrow on the top right, got a bad rebound, but he had 3 shots depths on this, which is another reason I brought it up. So it was definitely
at that point, you're not shatsing, right?
Yeah,
it just strategy.
Because if you hit it too clean, then it might go out. But there was just not enough give in the beginning of the shots on the right in lane or left. It would just rattle around too much, and so I don't know. For this copy, I would have preferred if I was in that position, but I wasn't in the final, so what do I know? But I would have preferred to be in the position of just hitting the spinner. But Alberto does end up with 92,000, so he's sitting in second. And so then we have Paul step up. He got house balled a couple times. Good ball 3, but he got a drain on a busted shots trying to go to the left. So he ends up, trying to do what others were doing. Rough last 2 balls. He ends up taking 4th. Nick was close to getting first again. He had some really good spinner rips. His ball 4 was amazing. He had a couple arrows, multiple in lanes for a near first place score. His ball 5 was just short of Greg. He had a lit in lane with the arrow to win it, but it hopped out, went to the right out lane, and he ends up with 127,000. Greg had 132. So Greg, Nick, Alberto, Paul, after 2 games, it was a 3-game Classics finals. We had Gregory with 5, Alberto with 3. Nick was in first with 6, so 6, 5, 3, and Paul unfortunately was at 0. So still anybody's game. Again, Papa scoring. So what do we go to? Game 3. Everyone's favorite and mine. I have the shirt to prove it. It's Dolly. So how do you play Dolly?
Yeah, no, it's very similar to Frontier, right?
Yep.
So that first inline drop on the right will light your spinner on the right for 1,000 to spin. Otherwise, you are what is it? Spelling Dolly either from Dolly is spelled from the stand-up targets on the top, right?
Yep.
And then Parton is spelled from. Is it that saucer?
Yep, that saucer, exactly. And so there is a super bonus on this. I don't remember if this one carried over, but you can get quickly to the super bonus by spelling Dolly and Parton. But the name of the game here is hit your inline, light your spinner on the right for 1,000. There was a very fair backhand from the right flipper to those inlines. And then there is a gate on this, I believe, maybe. I don't remember. Is there a gate on the right? I don't think there is.
I mean, you can shoot it back into the shooter lane.
That's what it is.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can shoot it back in. But again, try to hit the inlines to get your lit spinner, send it back up to hopefully you get the saucer or the stand-ups to spell Dolly Parton, and then your inlines will also increase your bonus multiplier, just like Frontier. So this was players 1 and 3 only. We had 5, 6, 3, 0. Paul and Greg were up first. Paul, unfortunately, tilts ball 1 with a 3x bonus. I think if you get the 3x, you got to just let it go. And it's hard to figure out what move you're going to make. But it was just a rough game, just a rough finals. He ends up taking 4th on this, spoiler alert. But nothing to sneeze at. You're 4th in the freaking Classics finals at the Beast. Just didn't get a point on the board. They were treating him rough, and that's Classics. Sometimes they're going to treat you great. Sometimes they're going to treat you wonderful. A really nice performance from him overall to finish 4th, and we'll get to the Whopper recap before. Greg had a absolutely dominant game of Dolly, and you'll see his ball 1 here. Got close to 500,000, just absolute ripping the spinner, lit spinner, kept ripping it easily. And so on this one, do you tap or shats to get back to the left spinner? I feel like the tap pass is the way to go, but I don't know, man. It's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, no, it's I feel like on these old school ballies, the tap ass is typically there. But I mean, I like a Shats too. Either way, you know, I can't remember if these guys are even transferring to the left.
They were. Greg was doing.
We'll see.
Yeah, Greg was doing some Shatses.
Okay.
To get back to the left flipper, his ball 2 was like I want to say like he ends up with 406,000. Let's see if he does it here. I don't. Oh wait, no. We're on the next set of players. Let's see what. That's why it was dangerous. Yeah. So that was Alberto, and he was trying to tap pass, but it just too much power. And I did that on Paragon at Pinburgh, and I was so pissed. That was the point that cost me freaking many points, but that was one of them. If I would have got to left flipper, I would have had a really good chance to get that extra point. But anyways, so the way it worked was Nick, excuse me, on Dolly, Greg had really good ball 1 and 2, ends up with 406,000 after 2 balls, finishes with 498K overall. You can see it right here, 498, 820, just really nice to give him a good setup going into the last game with Nick and Alberto hoping to play spoiler. Nick has a rough ball 1. We got to see this ball 1 because it's kind of rough. And let me see. He's at 600 points. And he's at 600 points.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's Dolly. You can have 400,000 or you can have 600. But he does end up finishing above Paul on ball 3. He ends up getting a 5x. The total at 134,000. Alberto had all his drops down on ball 1. And he tried to tap pass, but it went to the left out lane. Super tough tap pass. He could have forced a 3-way tie if he had passed Greg for first. But unfortunately, on ball 3, he had a bit of a nudge that was too hard, and he ends up tilting. I think it's like right around here. Let me see. He ends up forget what did he end up with score wise. He ended up with 255,000. So it's coming up. So he hits it here. I think is this Nick? Oh, this is Nick. I'm sorry. But we were gonna get to Alberto. Here's the plunge. I want to see this nudge because he got his saucer. Wait, are we still on Nick? No,
That might have been player 2.
Oh, that was player 2. Sorry. Here's player. Here he is. I want to see this nudge because I remember taking a note about it. So Alberto's stepping up. He ends up with 255,000. He's flipping away. He's ready to go. He wants to pass Greg to force this three-way tie. Gets a pop or 2. Boom, boom, Slingtown. Gets back up. Pop comes down. And then, let me see, where is it? He's at 254, so it's coming soon. It's the drop. Ooh, nice backhand. Where is it? He did like 10 points at a time. There's another drop. Hold on. He's at 255, 290. I think it's here. Yeah, it was right there. It was, you didn't see it. It was such a
tilted.
Yeah, it was such a slight move. But there's your results. Gregory first, Nick on Dolly. Gregory first, Alberto second, Nick third, Paul fourth. And your winners, I think I have their picture. Let me see. The Beast Classics A winner. Yeah, we'll go back. Go back to them. And then here are your Classics A winners. Not Tom. Get away, Tom. Here they are. There they are. There's their picture. Congratulations, gentlemen. We'll get to all the Whopper recaps at the end. And then your Classics B winners right there. I did take them down, I believe. Yeah, we had CJ Smith in first, Julian Gingras in second, Benjamin Fariga in third, and Andrew Cushman in fourth. Congratulations, gentlemen. You're right there. Some money for your troubles. And then, I had a good talk with, who's that guy on the right in the suit? Is that
that's Benjamin.
Oh, that's Benjamin. Yeah, I had a good talk with him. We talked during Classics. It was a really nice meeting everybody. So again, that was Classics. So the Beast had the Classics, and then we go to the main main action. So there was a really, really strong field of players pumping and dumping, trying to get some last minute scores. I was trying to get into main B. Just missed it. I just missed B on both of them. So I was actually happy with my performance. Would have liked to get into one of the playoffs, but not going to complain. Again, for the main playoffs, go watch Tom versus Levy in the first round on the tiebreaker on hard body. But we are going to go to the main footage now. And your participants were, you can go ahead and read those off if you'd like.
Sure. We've got Jared August. He was the 1 seed overall. Jason Zoller, the 2 seed. Escher Lefkoff, the 3 seed. And Matthew Richardson, the 19 seed.
Nice. And so, over this. Oh, I hope I have all the right footage. Okay. Yeah, I do. Okay, awesome. So
looks like these are. Yep.
Wait, why does it say?
This might be semis.
Yeah, those are the semis. Okay, here we go. Oh, I hope I have the right footage for the last one. We may not. That's okay. We'll just talk about it real quick. Okay, so your 4 contestants, Jared, Jason, Escher, and Matt, they started off on TX Sector. Have you played TX Sector before?
Yeah, I played. They have a copy up at Holy Frijoles up in Baltimore. But the one here played in Buffalo played pretty well, I think. The spinners are fairly juiced.
Yeah.
So they're one of the spinners is lit off the plunge. If you're able to find it, you can rip it for a decent amount of points.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also make progress towards multi-ball. I may need to look this up real quick, but I think it's like hitting, is it that like warp kind of target or warp ramp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's your energy level. Once it hits 10, that's what starts your lock for your multi-ball. I feel like I hit the spinner and it was increasing my energy level. I think sort of every little thing advances towards it. I could be wrong, but I do remember in qualifying getting there. But you're right. The name of the game here is that right spinner. It's super, super nice. If you go down the right in lane, it'll light your left spinner, which you can backhand from the left. So that's all you want to do. And you'll see how Escher completes a really nice jump in placement as far as finish here with the spinner. But yeah, it's a pretty simple game. It's, hit the spinner, do the things. And then if you get into multi-ball, is there a 2x when you're in multi-ball? I don't know if it gives you 2x on the play field, but regardless, you've got double the opportunity to rip spinners. You can see on this, it was order of player was Matt, Jason, Jared, and Escher. But it was sort of, Matt and Zoller went first, then Jared and Escher. So unfortunately for Matt, it wasn't he never really got a chance to sort of get going on TX Sector. He's had a couple house balls and he ends up with 371,000. I think this finals, I just felt bad because he wasn't getting the feeds that you normally would get. Still great placement to get to the finals, but starting TX Sector just didn't start him off on the right foot. But Jason Zoller had multi-ball ready to lock on ball 3, but he gets this unfortunate right drain. He ends up with 1.65 million points. I think if he would have got that multi-ball, man, he would have really been set up because of the score, the way this ends. But you can see him there. There's the multi-balls ready for him. But he got to Slingtown, and then where's he at? He's close to it. I think he does a ski pass over, left out lane drain, excuse me. But he had the shot at it, but it just didn't go. So then we have Jared again. Big shout out to Jared August for showing up at like 2 p.m. on Saturday after there had been like 15, 18, 20 hours of qualifying, and just drops like a couple cards and gets to the playoffs right away. So unreal skill. The kid from Michigan, as we'll call him. But Jared and Escher step up. Jared ends up with 675,000, but I want to go to Escher's ball 3 because this is where the spinner comes into play. So we've got the footage running here. He's at 1.5 million. He started below that on ball 2, like really below that, but it was just literally 2 to 3 spinner rips and he had overtaken Jason right there. And he finishes with 1.9 to take first place with 4 points. We got Papa scoring going on here. Zoller in second, Jared in third, Matt in fourth. So coming off his Pinburgh victory, Jason and Escher are in the finals again together, going back and forth. And the next game is Jurassic Park. So what do we know about Jurassic Park?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know if anyone went for the skill shots, but those can be worth a decent amount of points at the beginning on the plunge. You can spell chaos. The letters are kind of scattered across the play field. Kind of prep your chaos multi-ball. And then I like to prioritize getting Raptor multi-ball ready. So with the pro, the cage doesn't close, so it just kind of stays open. You can kind of bash that target on the left to kind of get that ready. I usually also try to start a paddock early on. So you shoot the white shots to spell map, M-A-P, and then you shoot the T-Rex, the left ramp, to start your paddock to kind of get that going in the beginning.
Nice. Yeah, it's such a deep game. This is one it's on my short list of next ones to get. I play it on location at lunch, and it's just such a blast. I'm pissed they took it away, but yeah. But the pro, the thing is that their pro version, the Raptor doesn't work, the stand up, so I could never do Raptor. I've only gotten Raptor through the smart missile shot, which is crazy because it's already a hard enough shot. I'm like, oh, I finally saw Raptor multi-ball. I actually got that invalid frenzy through the smart missile. I was super proud of that because I was like, damn, I've never seen that before.
It's
yeah,
pretty funny.
really good game. These competitors put on a damn show for us on this one. Matt went first. He set up his paddock, but he ended up tilting, unfortunately, while everything was getting set up. Again, I just think the pin, yeah, there's his tilt. Just they weren't treating him well. This was a super tight tilt, but I don't know. His move there, I don't know if it was worthy of a tilt, but the strategy a lot of people were using was use that Raptor multi-ball to advance your items, get to chaos. T-Rex events, good to have in case you need extra balls, especially that first one. But for Zoller on ball one, he ended up going to the paddock, hitting his T-Rex shots. Then it started his Raptor multi-ball. His Raptor multi-ball was unreal. I got to get to that because he was doing things that this might have been the best Raptor multi-ball anybody's ever seen. Let me see if I'm just going to play a little bit of the audio.
How long this multi-ball is lasting, and another smooth right there. That's smooth.
Wow.
That's smooth right there. 15 million with that loop as well. I mean, he got paid like 30 million in like 2 shots.
He's definitely making it look easy.
He's picking his shots.
Again, Steve Bowden and Tom.
Now he's definitely at 300 million. That is clear. 311.
I wish I could get to I wish I would have taken notes of the moment, but oh yeah, it was like right around here, right before the fossil.
What is this, third round of these?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll watch a little of this. It's just unreal what he was doing. He was staging super jackpots. It's just absurd. He finishes.
Look at it. He already staged that upper flipper and get another chance at it too. Wait for this to park.
Another ball save.
There it is. Let's see.
All
right, and it is
What a
finally
multi-ball.
over.
What's the total here?
Let's see. Oh, by the way, yes, the fossil.
Yeah,
Get that.
by the way, the fossil.
Of course.
If he didn't get a fossil, I was going to be upset.
Yeah. 228 million.
On Raptor. On Raptor.
Yeah, that's all right.
just a little. All right.
That'll do.
Oh, no control room either. So his ball one was 432 million. No chaos. Did it all on Raptor with no control room. Just unbelievable play. You want to learn how to play Raptor multi-ball? Go watch the beast footage again on twitch.tv/pinballers. And watch Jason Zoller's ball one. So Escher steps up. Jared had a quick ball one, 27 million, unfortunately. Escher steps up, starts Raptor and control room with restore power, ends up with 257 million. So you got two guys again doing what most people do in like 3 games in competition. So 432 million, 257 million. Ball 2, Matt unfortunately tilts out again, gets a big move. I don't know. Let me see this move again. I don't know if he was deserving of it, but let's see. Yeah, that was a big move. Never mind.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
Yeah, that was too big. Just had a rough start. Zoller gets up with ball 2. He had restore power running, but he couldn't start chaos in the last shots with the amber pops and the pops. It was ready for him, so it drained out. I don't know what he would have missed out on the stack, maybe 100, 200 million, but it ends up proving to be costly because Escher does make a big move. Jared August, little too much, tilts out like Matt did. Escher had a smart missile shot ready, but I think he ends up shooting it and it drains down the center. So after 2 balls, he was at like 351, 391. It's hard to see the score on this, but he was really close to Zoller. Ball 3, Matt unfortunately has a quick one again. Zoller has chaos lit, but he never gets to start it. So Jared steps up, has a really good ball 3. And you'll notice even with 2 balls gone quickly for him, He had Raptor control room lit, gets his ball 3 going, ends up with 614 million. He had system boot with 2x scoring going. He finished system boot to go over 500 million. So he ends up taking second on Jurassic Park, when after the first 2 balls, he really didn't have a lot going for him, but he just had that 2x going with Chaos and, Raptor and control room. So Escher comes back. He needs to pass Jared to clinch his Beast A victory. And what does he do? He starts Chaos with T-Rex multi-ball, has an amazing jackpot run, finishes timing out the T-Rex paddock, gets another T-Rex event, and he takes the first place guarantee after he takes over Jared August's score. And yeah, and congratulations, Escher Lefkoff, for being the Beast Division A winners, because he had 2 first place finishes after 2 games. Escher with 8, Jared with 3, Jason with 3, and Matthew with 0. The last game is The Walking Dead. Very brutal copy. Let's talk about it quickly. What do you know about The Walking Dead?
Yeah, you might know a little more than I do on this. I don't have as much time on it, but I usually prioritize, hitting those 3 drops on the left to, get your mode ready. And then I like to start with either Barn or CDC. CDC is good, that left ramp, because then you can kind of just loop that out for good points. And then Barn is that left orbit, which does feed the pops, but hopefully you can kind of get the ball under control after that.
Yeah, it's this is a Borg, right?
John Borg, yep.
Yeah, Borg tunnel freaking feed from the pops usually is somewhat safe, but man, sometimes it goes straight down the middle. It rattles a little. But you're right. Shoot your drops to start your mode, which you can pick from any of the major shots. There's 3 multi-balls to start. If you hit your drops, it's kind of like AIQ. When you hit your drop, whatever's flashing will lock in. If you complete the drops, it'll turn it solid. So when you complete all 3 inserts on the drops, that'll start activate your Bloodbath multi-ball. It'll qualify it, excuse me. Then you have to clear the drops one more time. Bloodbath multi-ball is the only thing you can stack with the other 2 multi-balls. So the shot up the center is the prison. When you hit spell prison, every shot lights a letter. It starts out with about 3 or 4 to start. Once you activate your prison multi-ball qualifiers, you have to kill walkers throughout the playfield. They're lit on all the major shots. If you hit the prison, it'll spot you one. But the thing with the prison shot, there's a magnet right on the middle of it. And generally that magnet gives you a terrible feed sometimes, but also hitting the prison doors, if they're closed, can go straight down the middle. If it's open, there's a zombie walker head in the middle. I like when the walker head's visible, but once you kill all the walkers, that will start your prison multi-ball. Again, you can stack that with Bloodbath multi-ball. And your other multi-ball is that giant wall walker target on the middle right. You bash him enough times to qualify him, then you have to bash him again. When you bash him initially, it spells well, and then you have like 5 shots to start it. General strategy, start your mode, start Barn, because Barn is your left orbit. Barn will increase the amount of points you can score during CDC, which is your left ramp. After you kill a certain amount of walkers, the in lane will be lit for a multiplier shot. You can forego it and hit more walkers to increase that. So what people will do is hopefully start your mode, start a multi-ball with that mode, and there's a tilt from Zoller. Start your mode, and then if you get far down in the mode, maybe you're on your 4th or 5th Barn shot or CDC shot, preferably Arena, which is the right ramp. Super hard to hit on the fly, but man, if you get that dialed in, it's huge points, which you'll see in the play that we have coming up from Escher and everybody else. You can stack your multiplier on a mode shot, and it just gets absurd. You can get like 6x on a 8 million, 10 million Arena shot, and the scores go crazy. Right now, player 2 was, let me get my mouse over here. Player 2 was Escher, and he's already at 79 million. So There's a lot of deep code on this. This is my favorite coded game. Lyman, again, rest in peace. I think this is your masterpiece. I love it, but it's tough because every feed is not safe. There's just no real safe feeds. Even if you try to hit the walker to the right, the walker magnet, the walker bash target, excuse me, it can sometimes go down the center. There's a feed to the shooter lane on the right, the Woodbury shot, and on the premium and LE, it plays so different because the left ramp, there's a zombie head on the bicycle girl, which is the left ramp shot, also your CDC shot, and it can bash it and come back instead of just ramping out. Also, there's a crossbow mech on the premium and LE, which will lock when you hit the right ramp, and then you can use the action button to shoot the lit shot, whatever you get. But the crazy thing is with the with the premium and LE, you also get a bomb. So you get a spotted shot towards either prison, multi-ball, wall walker, multi-ball. And I forgot what the third perk is, but you get those through your lit inserts on the left drop bank, for which will start your mode as well in Bloodbath. So it's a totally different game on the premium and LE. Here, Escher takes first on this last game. I'm going to go through it quickly for the sweep. He gets 12 points total. Zoller ends up in second, Jared in third, Matt in fourth. So your finals for the Beast Main A division were Escher Lefkoff in first, Jason in second, Jared in third, Matthew Richardson in fourth. We're going to go take a look at what they earned as far as Whoppers. And there's also a picture, so we'll do a little picture of them too.
There you go.
Let's go there. That's not bad.
Podium.
Yeah, those are the classics. Let's do Beast A. There are those young bucks.
Nice.
But congratulations to them. Again, Escher, Jason, Jared, and Matt. Here are your Whoppers. Escher with 161. Really nice points from this.
Oh, yeah.
Pump and dump. How does it affect TGP? It's just the amount of hours played, or it's like...
I think it's the number of games that count towards your your card, so to speak.
Okay.
So I think for this one, it was 8 games.
Okay.
8 significant games. Yeah. And then the number of hours in qualifying, and then obviously the number of players and the quality of players. Those all kind of go into effect or factor in.
Yeah. So Jared as Jason with 138, Jared with 125, Matthew Richardson with 114, Gregory Kennedy in fifth with 105, tied with Bill Mason. Lewis, Drew, Sterling. Sterling, again, great performance by the young lad, 79 points, and Jack, some points there too. So that's Beast Main A. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was a really impressive final.
Yeah.
This field of players arguably was maybe stronger than what we saw at Pittsburgh the weekend before. It was just really difficult to qualify in this tournament. With the game setups, and then also with the scores that the players are putting up. The cream always kind of rises to the top, right? So
yeah.
It was nice seeing these guys play at such a high level, and seeing how they attack these games that were not too nice during qualifying.
Yeah, seriously, they put on a show. Again, go watch Escher play TX Sector and Walking Dead, and Zoller play. Also, all of them play Jurassic Park.
All
really.
of them, yeah.
Like, that was just really, really good. So there was a women's tournament. We'll go through that right now. It won't take too long, but we'll definitely go through it. I hope I have the footage right. I may have botched the footage for the women. If I did, then I will whip it. Shoot, I thought I had it. Then we'll talk about it just briefly. Oh no, I think it's right. Yeah, right here. Okay, good. So the women had their own separate tournament at the Beast, and they got an interesting bank. I was kind of jealous because they had Jaws.
Yeah, the bank was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And Whirlwind, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, Banzai run. So let's start with the women. Let me get to our notes for it real quick. So your 4 players were Alyssa Parks, Gabby Antaya, Valencia Kelly, and Christina Capra. First game up was Jaws. What do you know if you want to give a quick rundown of Jaws? And I'll fill in whatever I...
Sure. Usually I try to get the life ring prioritized. That there's a stand-up target on the right, right above the little mini flipper, because that is your left out lane ball save. After that, I just go through the modes. So you want to hit the captive ball at the boat in the middle of the playfield. Hitting that enough times will trigger some optos up there, and then that'll light your modes. There are 5 kind of modes lit at the 5 major shots in the game. Shooting one of those modes when they're lit will start that mode. And then you can collect, or basically want to fill that. You kind of see the blue, kind of flashing red and blue in the middle of the playfield, that chum line. Once you fill that chum line up, you can kind of prep your Jaws multi-balls.
Yep, and that's exactly it. And then you've got beach rescues as well when you hit the lit stand-ups. And if you hit the beach lit stand-up, it activates a beach score. There's 3 per shot. There's 5 beaches, west, north, east, south. And then you close the beach by hitting the shot again when all 3 beach goers have been captured. There's a lot of depth in Jaws. I didn't think it was as deep when I first started playing it. But man, there's so much to do, and it's so fun. You've got gear on the right-hand side that you can collect. And when you're done with your gear, if you haven't used it, you can sell it back to Quint, I believe, for big points. Alyssa was up first. She had a bunch of beautiful reel rips, and she got her video mode. And the big thing in video mode is the extra ball will always be at the top center. And a lot of people play video mode in 3D vision, even if they don't have 3D glasses, because it's easier to see. And a big kudos to Stern for releasing another 8-bit NES mode recently. I think it's Revenge of the Shark or something like that, but it looks so cool. So this is the game that keeps on giving. The code is great. Rick, Elizabeth, the rest of the team, everybody that worked on it are just putting a lot of passion into this. And thank you. It's a lot of fun to play. I don't have one. I played on location, and it's just a blast. So for the women here, Alyssa Ball won. Like I said, had a bunch of beautiful reel rips. She ends up with 156 million. Christina was a victim of the power slings off the plunge. Quick ball 1 to center drain, 13 million. Valencia here does get a beautiful slap save, but gets a bad rebound after the dig, and she ends up with 5 million. I think it's coming up right there. Boom, and then bang. Just such a good,
fast.
Such a good save. A cool part of Jaws on that upper right mini flipper is the flip lock system. Introduced here. You can use the action button to hold that flipper up and cradle for X amount of seconds, and it's great when you're in multi-ball and you have 2 going. And then during multi-ball, you hit the chum bucket to get your add-a-ball. There's a spinner on the left, and on the premium, it's kind of, for me, it makes it the easier version. On that upper playfield, it also kind of reminds me of Foo Fighters' upper playfield. There's a wheel spinner that gives you extra awards. So like on Foo Fighters, you can spot mode shots up top on the upper playfield a lot easier than having to hit certain shots on the lower playfield because there's less real estate. So that upper playfield on the premium does make it an easier version for me. I don't know if people are going to disagree or not, but I feel like you can advance farther on Jaws with the extra spinner wheel up there. And there's a cool feed too. There's 2 shots up there. That'll come down the wave ramp. And so Gabby starts her pond attack and multi-ball prep shot to the fin. She missed it, but she got some really nice shots in for her ball 1. She ends up with 42 million. And then we go back to Alyssa, super quick ball. Rebounds to the right in lane with the rubber post in the out lane. Oh, yeah, and they have that little out lane, kind of like Viking. Or some other pins where you can bump it up and get a save, hop over the gap. But Christina started Raff Attack on ball 2, did a nice nudge to save it. She had her multi-ball prep, hits the shark fin, but it went straight down the middle, which is why there is a where is it? There is a I think she's right here. I think it was like so quick. Yeah, she was like super quick. She ball player 2? She was. But what happened? Yeah, here it is. I want to show this footage because there's a perk and a gear that gives you a ball save on the shark fin. So her multi-ball was ready. Oh, it didn't happen there. But what happens is you'll hit the shark fin, it'll come right back down the middle. So it's brutal. But if you have the gear, it'll give you a ball save once you hit the shark fin. Valencia,
Nice.
yeah, Valencia ball 2. She started Beach Panic, couple nice digs, but drained during Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy is really lucrative if you could hit that spinner on the left, because what will happen is it'll build your value for your Feeding Frenzy targets, which are the yellow lit stand-up, flashing stand-ups. So if you hit the spinner, it'll increase it. And then every time you hit the flashing yellow stand-ups, that'll collect your value. So you want to try to hit the spinner a couple times and then collect your Feeding Frenzy values. Unfortunately, she drained during it and ends up.
I think that Feeding Frenzy carries over ball to ball too, right? The
Yep.
value.
There's an achievement for it too if you get a certain amount collected during it. But yeah, it's a really, I think people sort of look over it because it's hard to know. It's I think the UI doesn't tell you. You're also going great. The ball's going fast, so I don't think people know like how lucrative it can be. Then Gabby, she started her Jaws multi-ball, got a quick 11 million, and she does what I do. She drained with her life ring active, right? But she drained on the right side, so I do it too. I'm like, oh, save it. I'm like, oh wait, it's only on the left side. And then so ball 3, Alyssa starts her Jaws multi-ball, ends up with 205 million. Christina, quick drain, gets 30 million, had multi-ball ready, but couldn't get it going. Valencia had cast and catch ready. Very, very profitable mode if you can get ball cradled and wait for the score to count up. She ends up with 76 million. And then Gabby, brutal treatment by the pinner. Here's my notes for it. Has straight down the middle, but gets the ball save only for it to go to the left out lane immediately. So she gets the ball save. She gets the ball save, and it comes in, and then it goes right to the out lane again. And it's like, that's pinball. Here's the ball save. Here it comes. It's coming. It's coming. Boom, boom, boom through the reel, and then left out lane.
Yeah.
That's pinball. So the results there: Alyssa first, Gabby second, Valencia third, Christina fourth. And our second game, Banzai Run. Do you know much about Banzai Run? Because this was the first time I'd played it.
I've only played it a handful of times. Yeah, we don't have any location around me, but I know there are a few kind of collectors that have one in their homes. I think it's pretty important to go into the upper the back box, right? The back box playfield.
Yep, I just played it for a second time at the tournament last weekend. Essentially, you're trying to beat bikers, and I think there's a strategy of like leaving one biker left. But what you're doing is there's a skill shot off the plunge, which can get you 100,000 through the gate on the top left. Your spinner lane on the upper left is how you get to the back box playfield. And from there, you want to beat your bikers and then jump up to the next level because there's different levels on the back box. So basically, you're kind of hitting the stand-ups to there's like your rollovers on the top, I think, for your green biker, and then you have your blue and red biker on the left, and then your yellow biker is somewhere. I guess maybe that stand-up on the right. But this is a very fun pin. I think it's a really good tournament pin. I think the last time our tournament, I ended up with like 1.4 million. Basically going to the upper playfield, and Bruce was doing the call on this action, and he's like mimicking the call outs because I think it goes green machine. So he kept saying it over and over when I was listening. So quick rundown of how this went for the ladies. Alyssa ball 1. She lit her upper playfield shot through the rollovers, went for green machine first, hit it, got 50K for it, came back down, had a small flipper fumble, but ends up with 352,000. So good ball 1. I don't remember what the scores were in qualifying for the ladies, but I think anything over 1 million, you were doing pretty good. Gabby ball 1, same as Alyssa, got green machine done, had a beautiful dig to keep her ball going, but got the yellow lit too. But missed the last jump shot, had 625,000 after ball 1. Valencia had 268,000. And Christina hit the skill shot to start. Got green machine, feed from the rollover lane, fed her left out lane, but she had 344,000. So we're going into ball 2. Skill shot for 100,000 for Alyssa. Had a flipper fumble, unfortunately, but finishes with 587,000, as you can see there. Valencia is playing right now. Gabby had a quick left out lane drain off the plunge. No second kickback was given, so you have to relight your kickback. And I forgot where that was. They talked about it on the stream. I think it might be on the right side. There's a right ramp that's lit red, the same as the kickback color. So Valencia, skill shot for 100,000, got a nice backhand to the upper play field. She just had an amazing ball here. She had 2 balls locked because there is a multi-ball. And what happened was I didn't realize there was a feature on this called instant rematch. So her balls were locked up top and she drained, but it fed one of her balls back down. So she still got to play, sort of like the Barracora free ball save. So that was cool. She ends up with 1.4 million. And then Christina, ball 2, skill shot for 100,000, but had a quick straight down the middle drain. So it was important for Christina to do well here to stay in contention. And ball 3, Alyssa had blue and red ready. Let me see, blue and red ready, but the feed from the left stand-ups went straight down the middle. Alyssa ends up with 708,000. Gabby ends up with 770,000, so she does not get last. Valencia spent time up top to increase her lead. Really nice flipper skills from her with the digs, backhands, and post passes. She was the master of the post pass on Banzai Run. You want to learn how to post pass? Watch Valencia's match here on Banzai Run. She ends up with not 1.4. She ends up with 1.8 million. Christina came back beautifully on Banzai Run on ball 3. She hit the 300K skill shot off the plunge, which put her right into second place. And if she had taken first, it would have been a 4-way tie for first after 2 games. So that was crazy. So any thoughts on Banzai Run?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a cool game. I try to play it whenever I see it just because it's, a little rare, kind of expensive, I think. But yeah, it's a classic, what is it, Pat Lawler design, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. And then we are on to our 3rd game. So after 2 in the women's finals at the Beast, we had Alyssa with 4, Gabby with 3, Valencia with 5, and Christina with 2. So 5-4, 3-2. Last game was Houdini. So I got to tell you, this was the first game I played when I arrived in Buffalo because it was the first game on the Thursday warm-up tournament. And I don't know, man. I love all pinball. It's really hard for me to say bad things, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on it. I don't know where the shots are. There's like millions of... it's just such odd code to me. The shots are tight. Bruce made a great point about something Ray Day said, where if they had taken the right orbit and like merged it with the right lane, it would open it up so much more. I don't know. It's just the scoring is so low. Thoughts on Houdini?
Yeah, I've only played it a handful of times. I don't think I played it in the warm-up tournament.
Yeah.
And I also did not make an effort to play it.
Yeah, it's like, there's like, so there are stand-ups that spell seance around the playfield that qualifies your seance multi-ball, which is on the right. There's modes where I was like, I don't know what mode to pick. And of course I picked the mode that has reversed and inverted flippers. So I'm like, great. I got no, like struggling already. I'm in last. I played with Joe and Tom, Pinball Degenerates Joe. And I'm like, what did I do? He's like, you picked the worst mode. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here. And so anyways, Here's how it goes. I'm just going to read off the notes because I really don't want to watch a lot of footage of Houdini. American Pinball, I really do like you as a company. This is one of the ones I don't get, and I can't vibe with as much as I try. So Valencia, her 3 balls. She started Chinese water torture for a 2-ball multi-ball. Nudge the machine back to the shooter lane. Classic, save the drain scenario. I always feel like ball don't lie is such a true phrase in pinball. If you save it, the ball's going to come back and find the drain somehow after the save. So she ends up with 295,000 after her first ball. Her final score is 669,000. Christina started her mode on ball 1, picked Milk Can Escape, which I think is a shot up top, probably the most lucrative one. It's a 2-ball. There's a ton of 2-ball multi-balls in this game, apparently. Had a beautiful Laz with an assist from the magnet. She started Seance multi-ball. Great ball to end up with 600,000 after her first ball. So you look at Valencia, she ended up with 670 after 3 balls. Christina had 600 after her first ball. She has a quick out lane drain in ball 2. Got her skill shot on ball 3 to start bullet catch. Finishes with 690. Gabby started the inverted and reverse flipper mode on ball 1. Lots of side-to-side action. She finishes up with 343,000. Alyssa started her mode on ball 1, got 100,000 on the skill shot. Terrible feed from the right side on ball 2. I don't know. She ended up around 340,000. Ball 3 ended up with 344. Your results are Valencia first, Christina second, Gabby third, Alyssa fourth. So your total finish was Valencia first, Christina Capra second, Alyssa Parks third, Gabby and Taya fourth. I do have a picture of the ladies, so we'll go to that and make sure we give them their props in due. So Beast Women winners, where are you ladies at? There it is. There. Nope. Right. There we are. Congratulations again, ladies. Great plaque for all of you. And then we'll also take a look at the Whoppers. Go ahead. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Whoops. That's Pinburgh.
Yeah.
Where are the Whoppers for the women? Did I not do that? Maybe I didn't do that. I apologize, ladies. But you did get Whoppers. I swear.
Pull it up.
We have it. Yeah, we have it here.
I think.
Yeah. It's right above. 20 points for Valencia. Christina Capra got 12, Alyssa with 9, and Gabby and Taya with 6.
There you go.
So that was the Beast. I do want to list pros and cons. Pros, very well organized. Everybody was on point. The venue was great. The food was awesome. I had the wings, so good. Did you eat anything around there?
I think I had ordered pizza logs every day. Have you tried those? You know
No,
what those
what are they?
So it's apparently it's a Buffalo tradition.
I got to do
they're basically just like fried egg roll wrappers, and then inside it's like mozzarella cheese and pepperoni.
Holy shit, that sounds awesome. Oh, that sounds so good.
It's really, really good. And then you got like a side of marinara sauce to like dip them into.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Yeah, pros, food, venue. I'm going to give you a con, though, Beast. Some of your tilts were absurd. I played big game a bunch of times, and I finally got it to the saucer on the top left. And what was my reward? A tilt. I hit the shot, and it tilted me. And I think the biggest complaint were some of them were so tight. It was like Iron Man was nuts. Doggy Soccer, World Cup Soccer was tight. Aerosmith was tight. Venom was tight, but that's normal for Venom. I just think the classics needed to be loosened up a little. There was just some absurd. And then what's great, though, to counteract that is they went in before the finals and adjusted all the tilts for the playoffs. So kudos to them for taking the proactive approach on that. Any other thoughts on the Beast before we move on?
Yeah, no, I talked to Jeff pretty recently too, and he mentioned that next year they're gonna add I think some practice time before main qualifying starts, just to make those kind of adjustments to make sure that the tilts are fair and stern but fair, right?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
still-
practice time is a
still
bad
well.
thing as long as it's not like
Yeah.
hours and hours. It's good to give people a chance, and I think that's what warm-up tourneys are for. But they didn't allow practice on the warm-up tourney on the pin.
Yeah.
So
He's definitely taking the feedback to heart. And,
yeah, and I think it
sounds like
was
he's
a
making some
really good,
changes.
good event and good whoppers out of it.
yeah.
For the level of competition, like you said, was amazing. So that's it for our big ones. We did get a request. Jonathan out of SoCal asked us to review Whopper Palooza, which we will do so for one of the events. They had 3 main tournaments. SoCal has a great pinball scene. I'm super jealous I wasn't into pinball. I lived there 2004 to 2016. And then I was born there. I lived there half my life before that. So I'm super jealous I was never into pinball because they have an amazing scene. Great players out there. Don't anybody say anything about Johnny. But they had a big event called Whopper Palooza, modeled after Lollapalooza. So they had 3 tourneys. We're going to be looking at Tilt This Way. They had a lot of new winners. And some really cool sort of qualifying rounds. I like the way they did it. Their format was EM, Classic, DMD, and Modern for every bank. And so for Tilt This Way, it was there was a bunch of qualifying, and then they had 3 finals on, I think, the very next day for all the different tournaments. So there were 3 big finals. It was Tilt This Way. Let me get the names of it. Tilt This Way, Grateful Drains, and Pirates Addiction. So they had 3 of those. We're going to look at Tilt This Way, and then I'll show the whoppers for the other 2, and then we'll be finished, and we'll do our quick game and go from there. Thank you all if you're still listening with us. This is a long podcast. We said we'd get shorter. We didn't, but guess what? There's a lot of pinball to talk about. So for Whopper Palooza, we had, let me take this out. Okay, Whopper Palooza. It starts at 3:39.
That's Pins and Pirates on the stream.
Oh yes, thank you.
For the
So
footage.
Twitch footage is provided by Pins and Pirates. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to grab this and putting it in such a nice format. So there we go. And yeah, we're good. So go to twitch.tv/Pins and Pirates. They play out of Captain's Arcade. You may remember Captain's Arcade was the location that auctioned off all the pinball machines during the pandemic. They had a huge auction. Me and Teolis were doing commentary on it because the prices were absurd. But that was pandemic pricing. It's obviously come down now. So it was a fun time though. They had a lot of cool and rare titles. So right now we're going to go to 339. And your players were...
For the first tournament, all the qualifying was on Saturday.
This tournament was called Tilt This Way.
Yeah, all the tournaments named after
Marcel
Lollapalooza
and
events.
Michael
I'm
Blair
sorry,
on the booth.
Whopper Palooza events.
Gonna
Yes,
let them
and
talk?
the format, if you're just turning in, has been an EM Classic, DMD Modern in every bank. So our qualifying was 3 rounds. Each round had 4 games.
Right.
And
each from a different era. Almost.
Yeah, I just said.
Oh, yeah, you did.
EM
sorry,
Classic,
I was listening to you.
DMD Modern.
He was
Yeah.
brutalizing
Was that
him.
not
I was
clear
listening
to
to
you?
this. Oh man,
It
she did
was.
not give him
He
any
played in
slack.
this tournament too. And now our finals format is actually the same. Each bank is a game from a different era, with the exception of the moderns that are built to be like EMs. Which
She
is
was like,
the
she was going.
TD's discretion.
She was saying during the competition, like, you're creeping me out, Michael. It's so funny. So they had a really cool format. Your 4 finalists were Dennis Eichhorn. I hope I'm saying that right. Kane Mejia, Scott Macias, and Johnny Monica. Jonathan made a point to let me know some of these were, new competitors that made it into the finals. Kane had a really good weekend of whoppers. Yeah, I've played with Kane once before. I think it's Starfighters. Really nice guy, or maybe Indisc. Just congrats to him because man, he really showed up and showed out.
I met
so
him
again,
at at Indus this year. I think he's a strong player. He made the B finals at Indus earlier this year.
Nice. Yeah, that is not easy to do. So
Oh.
just good for him as far as really playing strong, kind of like Jane did at District 82 Summer Classic during this weekend of tourney. So first game up, Wizard. I have never played this one, which is weird because you figure everybody would have played Wizard. I don't know much about it. I know it's get the ball to the right flipper, rip that left spinner. It'll help build up your bonus. There were a lot of attempts to tap pass, but I think the shatzing was the main move to get from left to right. They basically said don't sit on the left flipper at all. Do you know much about this?
I've played it a few times.
Okay.
The quick Bob Matthews guide says just go up top all day from the left orbit. I think there's a way to light the spinner.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I talked about it too, but I just didn't understand how. You can get a double bonus, I think, by getting that saucer a bunch of times. I don't know. So we'll let the strategy come once we get it searched for. So ball one, a 5-ball game. Dennis had 24,000 after ball one. Kane had 2,000. Scott had a really good ball like Dennis, got 25. And Johnny had a flipper fumble, but he still ended up with 14K. So ball two, Dennis ended up choking the tap pass, but he did get to 48,000. Again, with these scores, it's pretty good. Kane had a quick drain for 14K. Scott, ball two, Sling Town to 33K. Johnny had a quick drain to 22,000. Just multiple on this one, multiple right out lane drains for everybody. Dennis's tap pass reminded me of Alberto's attempted tap pass on Dolly.
Little rainbow.
Yeah. It's just so unfortunate when you think you've got it and it just like goes a little too much. So ball three, multiple spinner rejections. Again, that's what I took note down here on this copy. They were really trying to get up that left loop through the spinner, but man, it was just rejecting it so much. And I felt bad because it looked like people had clean shots, but just wasn't going. Johnny's face right there. So disgusted with Wizard. But multiple spinner rejections. Really solid ball for Dennis on ball three. Ends up with 82,000. Kane, another right out lane from a spinner rejection to a wild flip. Gets 25. Scott, good spinner rip to the saucer a few times. Has 61,000. And Johnny, quick ball, 37. So ball four. Dennis has 93,000 after a straight down the middle. Kane, hard shots. I had a bunch of hard shots as it looked like, but some good rips. He goes from 25 to 71,000. So really good ball four for Kane. Scott, same thing. Ends up with 85,000 on a good ball. Johnny, 56,000 after ball four, but more spinner rejections. Now, ball five gets really interesting because Dennis gets a solid one. 122,000. Kane ends up with 88, his ball five. But Kane's score is 88, like 88.9 or so. Scott,
800.
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah. I see it.
Scott ends up with 159 to take first. Johnny, I want to show you Johnny's final score. Where is it? Because it's absurd. It's so funny. So here's Johnny's on ball four. Oops, that went a little too far. Sorry. Johnny gets. No, I just had it. Johnny. Okay, here it is. Let's let it count. He's at 64. Kane has 88,900. Johnny finishes with 88,820. He loses by 80 points on a point to Kane. So look at his face. Look at Kane laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Kane's face. Oh, they get a big hug. Oh,
gross.
So gross. Oh my God, on Wizard of all things. So the results are Scott, Dennis, Kane, Johnny. On game two, they go to Pulp Fiction. After Pulp Fiction, Dennis has 5. He takes first. Kane gets, and this was 3-2-1 scoring. Right? This was 3-2-1 scoring, correct? I believe so. Yes. So after 2, Dennis is first with 5. Kane is second with 3. Scott is second with 4. Kane is third with 3. Johnny has 0 points after 2 games. So JackBot is the next game. And I do want to talk about JackBot because that is such a good tournament game to me. What do you know about JackBot?
Yeah, so there's I think there's 2 kind of main strategies for this game, right? One is multi-ball, which typically you kind of soft plunge so you don't validate the play field, try to get the ball in a flipper, and then you can see the grid is kind of, the lights are moving. So if you hit the visor on the light that's lit, the column that's lit, it'll open the visor on 1 hit, right? And then there's 2 ball locks behind that visor that you can kind of lock balls behind and start your multi-ball.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Agreeing.
Sure. So your JackBots during multi-ball are any of the scoop shots. So the 2 scoops that are the locks behind the visor, and then the scoop on the left, which is like the game scoop on the top left. And then once you kind of shoot all your JackBots, I think you can get a super JackBot if you lock 2 balls into the locks at the main locks at the top of the play field. And then that's kind of the main multi-ball strategy.
Yeah.
And then there's a strategy where you play through all the games on the saucer on the top left. So the top left saucer, I believe it's lit start.
Yep.
And then when you shoot the saucer, it will start a game. Usually you can choose to cash out the money or the points from that game mode, or you can try to double it by shooting a shot underneath the left ramp, which kind of opens up. I typically do that because it feels good to gamble.
I love gambling.
Yep. And then usually in tournaments, cheating is either turned off, but there's a button, like an extra ball button. I think it's on the right side of the cabinet below the plunger. Usually you kind of spam that button to cheat during those games, which is also very fun. And then to relight your saucer in the top left, you shoot the left ramp.
Exactly. You covered it all. Now I have a question because I saw it during this footage. During their JackBot multi-ball, the balls were locked and they would short plunge and drain, or they would let a ball drain so they could hit the left ramp JackBot and then let it drain and then hit the right. Do you know what that's about?
That might just be another playfield validation thing.
Okay.
If you get a free shot, or if you let it drain, if you don't get a good plunge onto the flipper, then you can just kind of try to plunge it again.
Because I saw it a bunch of times. I was like, I've never seen that strap, but apparently it's common. And I'm gonna have to watch this again because they were talking about it. It's just and a bunch of players did it. So they basically are short plunging, hitting the JackPot, and then letting it drain, and then short plunging again and hitting. So there's 2 JackPots that were lit. The one on the left ramp, and then the one on the hit me shot on the right, which is on the original Pinbot, the planet shot on the right hand side. So I didn't understand it, and I was trying to figure out not why it's allowed, but what was going on. So maybe I'll just have to rewatch it. But yeah, you said it perfectly. I think this is one of the best tourney games. I think there's so much you can do as far as strategy on an older one. But see, Johnny let it go. Yeah, and they highlighted it right there. He let it go, and wait, maybe this is his plunge. No, it was his I think this is his multi-ball. He had a really good ball one. Anyways, the review of this for us is, and Double or Nothing, you got to go Double or Nothing. And then and Casino Run, is there any deep strategy to Casino Run? Do you like hit it a bunch of times and pray you don't get the bomb, or?
Yeah, so usually you have like 1 bomb wipe from using that button that below the plunger.
What do you mean by bomb wipe?
So like the first time you see a bomb show up, you should be able to wipe the bomb away
with the extra ball button.
The cheat button, yeah.
Okay.
But then after that, like the next bomb you get is going to kill you for the run.
What does it mean when you kill you? Everything you've collected is gone?
Oh yeah, you don't collect anything.
No.
You just lose. You lose everything. You roll the 7, right? and then you're just dead.
No pass line
So-
7 or
No, yeah, right, right. So quick side story. I played JackBot at a tournament earlier this year at Allentown, and I was playing Casino Run in during finals. Chris Stevens is my group, and I don't think Elliot Keith was in my group, but he was also watching, kind of close behind, and I had 2 specials and then like 700 million points in my Casino Run, and I was like, okay, let's keep going because I don't know if specials are worth anything, and 700 million points didn't seem like enough to like beat a good player. So of course I get a bomb, and then I play out my ball, drain, and like I walk over to Elliot and Chris, and they just have their hands over their heads, like, dude, you passed on 1.7 billion points. Like each of those specials is apparently worth like 500 million points.
Oh,
So
no.
all right. That's
Good to
a
know.
hard lesson learned, Not gonna make that mistake again, hopefully.
But that's why JackBot's great. I think
Yeah.
I think the gambling portion adds such a deep lore to it. But yeah, I wouldn't have realized specials worth 500 million either. You're like,
Yeah,
I could get some more, and then of
I got-
course they
I
give you
got
the bomb.
greedy.
Yeah, well, you paid for it. Tough luck,
Yeah.
son.
Now
No,
I got a story out of it, right?
yeah,
So,
exactly. But lesson learned, and I just learned too, because now I won't make that mistake. I'd be like, oh, specials worth nothing in tournaments.
No.
But yeah, so JackBot on this game 3, they had Dennis short plunge, went straight down the middle after his visor shot, 77 million. Kane played a casino game, ends up with 209. Scott missed the visor shield skill shot, right out lane, 121. Johnny had a great ball one, ends up with 1.1 billion. He had multi-ball, but a quick drained out of it. Only collected 1 jackpot, but he started a second one. He hits the left jackpot and drained. And then after that, he hit another jackpot during multi-ball. Ends up with 1.1 billion. Dennis ball 2 opened his visor straight down the middle, though, 158. Kane starts multi-ball, gets a couple jackpots, plays his second casino game. Actually played most of them. He had Casino Run ready, but fortunately he flubbed a post pass. I think are we there right now? I think we're close to it. Yeah, I think he was. No, it's going to be a little after this. But he still ends up with close to 700 million, so nothing to sneeze at there. Scott started multi-ball straight down the middle after quick multi-ball drain, 226 million. Johnny ball 2, quick left out lane drain, but he's already over $1 billion, so he's sitting pretty. Dennis finally starts his multi-ball, and 333 million was his final score. Kane 748 after ball 3, 456 for Scott, and Johnny walks off because of his ball 1 ball. So after game 3, it was 5-5-5-3. Johnny took first, Kane second, Scott third, Dennis fourth. Huge chance for any of the fives to take it. Johnny was statistically out of first because it was 3-2-1-0. So no matter what, one of the fives was going to get a 2, which would put them at 7, even if Johnny took first. So the last game, my favorite and yours, and I'm not saying that sarcastically for me, maybe for you, it's Venom. So I will give you a quick strategy on Venom in tournaments.
Yeah.
I was just playing it earlier tonight to try to get some of these last quest badges. Venom is a fan layout similar to Stranger Things. The Pro is heavily stripped, and it is heavily reliant on backhands. There are combos in the middle of the playfield. There's a grid in the middle of the playfield. Each flashing light is a shot you need to combo to turn it solid and qualify. There are several multi-balls in tournaments. The main multi-ball you want to focus on is Mayhem multi-ball. You can choose one of 4 characters during the start of the game: Eddie Brock, Black Suit Spider-Man Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, or Flash Thompson Agent Venom. Each of them comes with a perk. Eddie Brock starts you with 2 locks ready to go. You get locks by hitting your mini modes, which are your combos. After a couple, you can light a lock. Each side of the playfield has a fast lock container, can hold up to 3 balls. Mayhem multi-ball can be up to 6 balls. The other multi-ball is the Carnage Very target on the upper left. You hit the captive ball, it bashes Carnage back to the insane asylum. from whence he came, and that will start Carnage multi-ball. You cannot stack Carnage into Mayhem, but you can stack Mayhem into Carnage. And you can also change hosts. And the reasons you would change hosts after lighting all 3 of your combos is to get a perk on the grid. If you'll notice in the center of the playfield, there are boxes and rewards for completing 4 grid points. One of those is a 1x playfield on the bottom left. So a lot of people will start with Eddie and then move to Flash Thompson to get their 1x permanent playfield multiplier. Some people will go Peter Parker to Gwenom to get the flamethrower perk, which is really useful if you get to a boss. Flamethrower perk will spot 3 shots once you hit that lit flamethrower shot. Mayhem multi-ball can be started any time after 2 multi-balls are locked. So if you start with Eddie Brock, you get 2 off the bat. You just have to hit the shot. Your playfield multiplier, you can also get a 1x playfield multiplier from filling up the left canister. So if you hit the left lock shot, 3 times, that will activate your plus 1x. So if you get the left and center left grid filled, you'll get plus 1x there. And then if you lock 3 balls on the left, you'll get a plus 1x there. So you'll have 3x.
I think it's the right side for the plus 1x playfield.
Let me check.
Yeah. I think right side is plus 1x, and then left side is XP.
Left is the grid I'm
XP.
thinking of, but you're completely right.
Oh, yeah.
On the right is the plus 1x for the fast locks. And it does have a fast lock system, so when you shoot it, the balls come down really quick. I love that part. So, so that's Venom in a nutshell. You want to try to, in a tournament, I always choose Flash Thompson to start because I like the sleeper add-a-ball unlocked right away. It's only available on ball 1, and Eddie Brock is always available after that. Most people choose Eddie Brock, and I totally get it. It's because you get the quick 2 locks, and then if you hit your combos, you can sort of stack that up. Boss fights are lucrative. If you fill a grid up or a line, you can battle a boss once you've hit level 10 on experience, and those are good points. Usually people don't get to many boss fights, but during Mayhem Multi-Ball, you can beat bosses if you hit enough jackpots to light the super jackpot. So if you hit a super jackpot in Mayhem Multi-Ball, the first one is Riot, and it moves to Agony, Phage, and Lasher. So that's Venom. I see in the chat, someone, JM Garvey says, let Teola set the tilts and you won't be here long. That's probably from the Beast. So the review of this for Palooza, last game, Dennis, ball 1, huge nudge to save it, chose Eddie Brock to start for easy locks ×2, tilted out, ended up with 1 million. Kane, nothing big, 6 million on his. Scott, 2.2. Johnny, immediate drain, 1.3. That can be Venom on tournament play. It's fast and it's tough. It moves side to
Very
side.
fast.
It's really hard to get control. And on the pro, your backhand is your best friend because that horseshoe is a pretty safe feed, especially if you can live catch or drop catch nicely. But man, once it hits those slings, you're done for. There's also a hurry up in the center for Bell Tower Frenzy. For ball 2, Dennis took the 3-ball Mayhem multi-ball. He had a nice Mayhem to end up at 65, but he didn't get the Carnage stack. And that's key because when you're in Mayhem multi-ball, you want to bash that very target to activate Carnage, and then you hit it up the center ramp, and then you've got 2 multi-balls going at once. And you always want to do that because it can extend your Mayhem and get you some extra jackpots. Kane, huge ball 2. He stacked Mayhem with Carnage, and he ends up at 317 million. He had a really good game of Venom. Scott, quick drain, 6.6. Johnny, left out lane drain, 10 million. Dennis, ball 3, started Carnage with Sleeper, 80 million Carnage, and he started Toxin Team Up. If you could beat Toxin Team Up, you're just going to get a great amount of points, and also activates Hybrid, which is a up to 7x playfield multiplier. He had a big move, got a double danger. After that, couldn't make any moves, so he ends up with 214, doesn't pass Kane. So it's up to Scott to pass Kane. Kane started Toxic Team Up with Sleeper. He beats Riot. Andy started a second Mayhem multi-ball. So Kane was on fire. There's his super jackpot on Toxin. And yeah, ends up with 471. You know where this is going. Ball 3, Scott, this Carnage. He got Carnage. Ended up with 95 million. And Johnny tilted out to 18. There's Johnny's face right there. Johnny ends up with 18 million after tilting out. So Kane first, Dennis second, Scott third, Johnny fourth. We're going to go here to our, oops, not there. We're going to go here to our points. I think I have them here. Give me 1 sec. We're going to close that out so you can see the whoppers. So for Tilt This Way, Kane comes in first, 61. Dennis in second with 44. Scott Macias gets 36 points. Johnny gets 29. Kyle Ridey, Robert Potter, Steve Ward, David Oliver, Brian Sutherland, Gerald Kuchner finish those out. And for Grateful Drains, the second tournament, the winners were David Green, 31. Tom Isaac, 22. David Oliver, 17. 18, we'll say. Scott Macias, 14. Johnny Modica in fifth. And then your last one was Palooza Pirates Addiction. Johnny takes for nice job, Johnny. David Oliver in second, Kyle Ridey third, Kane in fourth. Hey, Michael Polero took fifth. So that was Whopper Palooza. Any thoughts? You like the format?
No, it looks cool. I'm glad Binkley was able to reach out to us and we were able to get some coverage on it. I hadn't heard about it until you mentioned it, and then it seems like it was a good time.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan, for reaching out. If anybody wants us to review, do in-depth analysis of their tournament, please let us know, and we'll get it. When tournaments sort of smooth out as far as timing and pacing, these episodes will be shorter. But I really appreciate everybody sticking with us. It's a long podcast. Listen to it on your drive. Break it up into bite-sized sessions. But yeah, it was a good episode, and now we get to have some fun. So tell us what we're doing next.
Yeah, so there was some talk about headphone players and pinball. Do you wear headphones? You do, right?
I do. I have the little like bone conduction ones.
Yeah.
Bone induction. So I love it. I absolutely
there you
love
go. So yeah, there was some discussion about what songs people listen to when they're playing. I personally don't like wearing headphones when I play, just because it's I like to hear everything as much as I can with the game. I know it's a lot of times it's loud in an arcade and you can't really hear the call outs or anything, but I'd still like to hear the kind of kinetic movements of the ball and moving inside the machine. But I do have a routine where I will listen to music before I start playing in the car drive, like the drive over to the venue, or sometimes I will still bring some headphones just in case. But yeah, we can kind of put together a little playlist here of songs that kind of get us in the mood to play and get us in the zone. And do you want to start us off with the?
So I'm gonna give me 1 sec. I want to see if I can. But anyways, yeah, Joe's right. We thought we were talking about. We're like, oh, what gets you hyped up? What gets you calmed down? So I was thinking of 3 different phases, like what gets me hyped up, what brings me down, and then kind of what gives me confidence, or what I need. And the thing that I noticed was, let me see if I could do this. Capture audio, perfect. Okay, so perfect. We'll lower this. I was thinking of things that are like sort of have a steady BPM. So the reason I picked this first song is because it came out, and I haven't seen the movie yet, Deadpool and Wolverine, but any choir version of Like a Prayer just sounds awesome to me. So I'm gonna play a little. I don't want to get muted, but it's got a good build up. I just think it's a great song regardless. So I've got a wide variety. Side note, I used to, in a past life, I used to be a DJ on the radio, used to work at a bar, used to do events. So music's a big part of my life.
I didn't know that.
I used to do Top 40 radio. I had a DJ voice, everything. I used to always lead into the Saturday night rap freestyle shows. It was so cool. But yeah, That's why I kind of think I enjoy doing this a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good song. And then we've got your next one. You've got the second one.
Yeah. So this is the song that I listen to every single time before I play pinball. It's Whitney Houston. I don't want to dance with somebody. I actually got it from I went to a Turnstile concert, and they're like a rock band out of Baltimore, Maryland. And this is the song that they played right before they got on stage, and I noticed just everybody getting kind of like loose and like, dancing around a little bit, getting ready to kind of mosh. And this is kind of like when I'm in my car, I'm like singing, and I'm also kind of like dancing and trying to get loose, so I'm not like really tight when I start playing.
Yeah.
Like this is my kind of grease the wheels song before I play.
I mean, it's got such a good intro. I'll play a few seconds. So good. The Queen. All right, I'll pick one next. So on my list, I did do Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Tears for Fears, just a classic 80s band. I'm kind of go all over the place with my music. I try to think of things that were, this one will get me relaxed. Give me a little confidence too. Just a great start. One of my favorite bands. I think of all the 80s songs, this is up there for me. Your Love by the Outfield is number one, but yeah, that's a choice for me. What do you got?
Yeah. Next one up, it's DeBarge, I Like It. Just kind of another song that gets me, a little loose, and like I'll try to sing along to in the car. Just kind of belt along to it. Just a classic.
Oh, that's smooth.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, I'll do a couple. Smashing Pumpkins, one of my favorite bands from listening to high school. The Beginning, just 1979 is one of my favorite songs, and I just
Classic.
Yeah, it's just that beat is so classic. This one I picked up from TikTok. I like these dark, like I said, steady beat, but I think I forgot the name of it. It's not hopecore, but there's this genre, and this one by Artemis is just so good. Just the way it starts. It's just got such a good beat.
Oh yeah.
When he goes right here. And then it just goes like, it's just a constant sort of, it just keeps me focused and concentrated. And then I'll go with this one next. This is a interesting one. I don't know. I can't get enough of this song, but it's Style by Taylor Swift. Similar beat to Artemis's just one, and it just reminds me of staying smooth and steady, hold the pace, and go from there.
The classic Taylor song.
Yep. You're next.
Yep. This is one I took from the recommendations that people were posting. I think it was Ian Harrower had mentioned listening to Metallica's Seek and Destroy. And now this is the song that I pick when I'm playing the Metallica pinball machine, just because it rips. It's very good.
Let's hear a few.
Yeah, the riffs.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. I think, what's funny is I think I remember this blasting when someone was doing qualifying, like it was at the end or like a tiebreaker. They were just like, turn up the music. I need something. And it was playing. What do you got next? Tallulah?
Yeah, a little Jamiroquai. It's another just a jam that I like to kind of get loose to and move my limbs around.
Let's hear it. Jamiroquai is so good. Obviously, Virtual Insanity and others, but yeah, just absolutely amazing. Go for your next one.
Yeah, sure. This is probably a little cheesy, but Alan Parsons Project, Serious. Just I kind of picture myself walking out with Michael Jordan in the the Bulls. This is probably going to be played over or next week when we're in Chicago for Expo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very I think fitting.
It's so good. This is such that's probably of your picks, that's my favorite. It's so good. Yeah, that's a banger for sure. All right.
Yep.
So then I've got a sort of like a dark horse song. This song has been on my Spotify rap top song playlist. Like it's been the number one for like the last 3 years. Mr. Kitty After Dark. Just a very slow brooding song. It's sort of what I play to calm myself down or get prepped up, get hyped up a little. It's not as hyped up as the next song, which has one of the best. It's probably my favorite Snoop Dogg song. Who Am I? One of the best intros to a Snoop song for me. Unreal. I could listen to that every day. And then
Nice.
can't go wrong with Van Halen. This one's Van Hagar, but it's right now. Just you know this song, you know it rips. All right, you go up.
Yep. What do I have next? Some Queens of the Stone Age.
Mhm.
No One Knows. It's one of their from their songs for the Death album.
Oh yeah, that beginning. Ooh.
Riff is great. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And I know this next one. Tell us the reasoning behind this one.
Oh yeah. Little Sade, rounded out. Smooth Operator. I know I've requested this a few times in a list of streams, but I also kind of got a little inspiration from watching Formula One. And if you know Carlos Sainz, he currently drives for Ferrari. I think he's moving over to Williams next season. But he's notorious for just singing a cappella "Smooth Operator" over the radio to his team in the pit.
Such a timeless classic. It's so good.
Yeah.
God, that beat is like Caribbean smooth. Oh, the sax. All right, so I've got a few more. I've got, oh man, I added more than I thought. This one from high school. This one gets me pumped up. You know it once you hear the beat. Rough Riders Anthem, DMX. Just so good to me. If I need a steady sort of rhythm to keep me focused, I don't know. This song, I feel like this is one of Madonna's best songs. This is part of her electronic era. It's called Hung Up. It's just a constant repetition of it's got the old ABBA beat. So good.
Great song.
And then this one I picked up over the summer. This one I guess was not a real song. It was just some sort of riff in the studio, and they made it a good song. I made it a full one. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm good. David Guetta, BB Rexa. Here with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Just some more songs to keep you pumped up. I got Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. And then classic rock one. I'll finish this out, and then we'll finish with yours at the end. Crazy on You by Heart. My favorite female band. They're just unreal. And this is probably my favorite song of theirs. Corey Hart. I posted this before. This is an unknown song of his, but it's called Never Surrender. And it's such a cheesy 80s song. But I do this when I need to laugh, and I just need to enjoy the sweet, sweet crooning of Corey Hart. Machine Head, Bush. This starts off so sick.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
This song rules, yeah.
And then the last one, probably one of my favorite rappers. Just one of the best pump me up rap songs I've ever heard. Victory, Notorious B.I.G., Busta Rhymes, and Diddy. So we'll go to yours now. Finish us off. We were at Sade.
Nice.
So what do you got?
Yeah. I
Brat
can't
Summer.
forget some Charlie. Yep. B2B is my favorite song off of Brat.
Oh, that's good.
He's solid. Yep.
And finish us off.
Yep. And then some Denzel Curry. Shout out Denzel. Walking.
That's good. I don't want to play too much because I know it'll get muted. But that's our playlist. What I'm gonna do is, and this was a really good idea, Joe. Thank you for bringing it up so we could do it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna put a link to this playlist. You can copy it and make your own. I'm sure there are songs here you hate, and I'm sure there's songs here you love. But the great thing is, that's the wonderful thing about music. It's got such variety and such far-reaching effects for everybody. Anyways, that is our episode. But I'll link our playlist in the show notes. This was another long episode. I appreciate everybody waiting. Our next episode will focus on Papa 21 and maybe another tournament in there. If we just focus on Papa, it'll go, oh yes, look at the hat. Yeah, baby. But I had a lot of fun. Thank you for your knowledge and being a great co-host. Any final thoughts?
No, I had a good time, Hadi. You know, it's so easy to, you know, talk about all these tournaments, and you know, we just have a real passion for it, and hope you guys can share in our passion and continue with us as we kind of share our journeys.
Yeah, Wizards and Warriors episode 2 is done. We'll see everybody later. Bye.
See you guys.
The lights are flashing, the bells are ringing. I step up to the table, my heart is singing. The crowd is watching, the tension is high. I'm ready to play, it's time to defy it. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, a target light. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul. Silverball rolling, chasing the light. Triple fingers dancing, the arcades alive. The flippers respond to my every command. In the pinball kingdom, I make my stand. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, a target light. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul.